right, guys, welcome back to the Space Bro Show. We are celebrating our week of not only E3, but several other different items that we're going to be talking about tonight, including some Star Citizen stuff, including some other things, and yada, yada, yada. Let me get one thing fixed here real quick. Boop. Boop. Perfect. And now we will talk to the rest of the gents here as we get everything set back to there.
A Tesla.
There they are. Everybody's here now. Celebrate.
Hey. What's up, guys?
Hello.
Turn that little thing off.
Hey, look.
Hello.
It's in the middle of the screen is the same screen.
Well, they had the preview window for the video window on top of the window with the window, and it's done. It's gone now. Poof.
Windowception.
All right, the viewers are gonna the viewers are gonna see me snorting something really quick, so just deal with it. Don't do drugs, kids.
Awesome.
Yeah, especially off your fingers.
Sharing is
if
caring.
you haven't seen Eric's fingers. Good lord.
German snuff, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh man.
The best cure for allergies on the market. It also has a hell of a rush too. It's the only tobacco I still do is German snuff.
There it is. All right, guys, so let's introduce anybody. We'll go around the room here. Of course, with us tonight in Face Rig memorandum for all the other Face Riggers, we had to have one representative. We have Mr. Nighthawk Zale with us.
Good evening, everybody. How are you doing?
It's uncanny. Team Fortress 2, one of my favorite games, by the way. We also have down at the bottom here, we have Mr. Eric McKetton with us, the Snuff Master.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Don't do drugs.
There you go. And then joining us once again, one of our favorite streamers, Mr. Moonshiner's here.
What's up, guys?
There we go. We raided his Twitch stream earlier and took it all over with a bunch of random people. Just ran in there naked.
Yeah.
And he just kind of dealt with it.
It was all good.
And then here, my good friend and fellow pilot that we like to mess around on the PU whenever we line up all the time, Mr. Stoutman's here.
Hey.
There we go. And you know me because you're here. I am Mitachi, and we are going to be talking about Star Citizen. Hopefully not. I promise we won't talk about 2.4. We'll talk about a little bit of Star Citizen. We'll answer questions and do all that stuff as we get into that. But first, to start with, I think we're going to go around the room and just kind of give some of our impressions of some of the stuff we saw at E3 that we kind of dug on and thought was pretty cool, and just go from there.
Before we do that, can I make a really quick announcement?
As long as it's not
Stoutman
involving
and I to Test Gaming this week.
Thank you.
Yes, he is now a member, an official member of the Test Gaming stream team.
So, yeah. Nice.
So yeah, he is certified an alcoholic and a Star Citizen player. That's pretty much the two.
There you go. And another streamer is absorbed into the fold.
Yes,
There it is.
yes. We are Legion. We really are stealing every Star Citizen stream. We'll have you.
Anything else? Nobody's saying anything else, but it's all good. We love you guys over at Test. You guys are awesome sauce. So let's go ahead and jump in. Nighthawk, what game were you wanting to talk about tonight?
Well, so, okay, I've been watching and following No Man's Sky for quite some time now, and recently they had a little bit of a drama go on through their social media and various other mediums, but basically they had their release date of June 17th pushed back to August 8th, I think it is, 8th or 9th.
Right.
And a lot of people have been worried that for various reasons it might just be getting scrapped, but that is in no way, shape, or form the case. And not necessarily that E3 has made that clear, but rather the tweets that Sean Murray has been putting out in tandem alongside E3, the Star Citizen, things like open exploration, seamless transitions from planet side to space, back and forth, no loading screens. You're going to be able to get in and out of your ships. You're going to be able to interact with alien species. You're going to be able to craft and just it's a bottomless pit of your summer's never going to end. And I'm so eager for it. It's ridiculous.
Well, now your winter's never going to end, right? Because it has gotten pushed back. I think what are we waiting for now? I think they said that was pushed back to, was it December now?
August 8th, I believe, is the official.
Pushed it back again, so I don't know. We'll have to see.
There's another thing that we found out just today that was probably helping to hold back its release too.
Oh yeah, that whole thing with the legal with Sky.
They were in litigation with Sky Media, the people that do Sky News and the other broadcasting out of Great Britain, because they trademarked the name and the word Sky. Yep. And apparently they reached a settlement today. Yeah. So No Man's Sky can use the name Sky, but this is how much power these people have. According to Sean in his tweets today, I think it was Sean. Somebody in his tweets today. They forced Microsoft to change the name of Skynote to OneNote. The reason why it's called OneNote is because this company had so much power that they beat Microsoft. So the fact that No Man's Sky can even use the name Sky is.
Writing the common words is just out of control, and every country should just say, take a hike, boneheads. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. So one of the things, but the potentiality for it is there.
Right.
And another thing, multiple galaxies. 18
quintillion planet or star systems in them. I mean, each, because that's the one galaxy they've had so far. It's 64-bit, and so it's 18 quintillion total star systems in that one galaxy. Now they're saying there could be other galaxies with that many more.
Well, if you've noticed, over the last month, actually maybe 2 months now, they've been referring to it as a universe, not just a galaxy.
Game that wants that some level of multiplayer element where they could try to play with their friends, and so I could definitely see maybe, and it's still kind of hyperbole and like a little bit of rumor mill, but I can see them delaying it partially for that, to develop some element, maybe not a party system or anything like that, but some element that gives you the possibility of being able to run into your friends with a little bit more support than that. I know me and Eric talked about that was going to be our whole quest, just to find each other in the universe. We're going to see if we can make it happen.
And that really could, in and of itself, be a quest that takes you the entire existence of your gameplay, because it's so vast. The possibility of you actually coming across the planet that Maquettan discovers, names, and decides to live on and never leave again is so infinitesimal that if you actually pulled it off, you're better off just sticking together and never leaving each other's side again.
Yeah. It's going to be like two lovers on hills running to each other.
Yeah, running to each other through the vast valley of beautiful flowers and dinosaurs.
Is that you? Is that you?
Is that you? Oh, I haven't seen you forever.
So another thing that I find really interesting, and this is something that I was able to finally clarify and get confirmation through several sources. You're going to be able to, and at times perhaps even be required to, abandon your ship. You're going to be able to purchase entirely new ships, and what little we know of the crafting system where you can create ship components, there are people who are hoping and wondering that we might actually be able to craft ships.
I can see that.
Yeah,
which would be phenomenal.
Yep. And we definitely know that you'll be able to purchase different ships. They've said that for sure. So
and alien ones too.
Yeah, and actually, in fact, to be able to purchase alien ships, you have to learn the alien language, so you'll be able to understand what the traders are saying. There's all these really cool things that might come along with that.
I'm so excited.
All right, let's move on to the next one. We're all pretty hyped about No Man's Sky. I look forward to playing that with all you guys, because I think it's going to be really fun.
Oh yeah,
so
I'm going to be streaming it.
Yeah, I think it'd be great. I don't think a multi-stream translate until we find each other, but I think it's going to be fun to stream anyway. It's like multi-stream. Where's he? I don't know. Where are you? I have no effing clue.
On the contrary, I think that could turn out to be really fucking fun if we did a multi-stream of No Man's Sky, because every single person starts with their own unique spawn point, and to try and figure out how to get to each other from
just starts collecting and claiming
in.
territories all around the planets in a circle. Just keep going outward till you run into each other. It did take several years, but we'll do it.
We'll look up at like two different constellations and try to find similarities.
A whole pieces of paper.
That's exactly what I love doing that. Yeah, we could literally be. We'd have to do triangulation and whatnot. You start looking for like Moonshiner said, similar constellations and whatnot. Try to figure out where we are in relation to each other.
Yeah,
I'm really hoping we can do that.
It would be great because I mean I could see so many of our viewers, especially the ones that are more technical, the more science oriented, they would love to help with that. And I could see them analyzing our videos and trying to pinpoint where we are in the night to help us find each other.
Oh, it'd be a quest.
My avatar
All the
won't raise
viewers
its
can
hand,
join
but I'm
in.
raising my hand.
We'll have everybody join in, absolutely,
Yeah.
so that way we could just like the quest is to get the Space Bros together.
Yes. It's not to get to the center of the universe like
It'll take
everybody else
forever.
is doing. We all want to
Forever.
get to the same habitable planet and then build a base on it and just chill. Yeah, and
See,
that's
that'd be
what
the
we'll do.
ultimate quest. We'd still have to survive, collect things, and do stuff on the way.
Yep.
But we'll
right.
see what we can do together. All right, let's move
So
on to
it's
Eric's
confirmed.
one.
We're each going to name a
Going to
planet.
have No Man's Sky. We're each going to at least pick one system where we name everything in it, like after Captain Richard. So it's like Captain Richard's butt, Captain Richard's eye, whatever,
Yes.
whatever, just for the fun of it. Just so that in the future, someday, people are going to be traveling through these systems as they play this game 10, 20 years. They're gonna be, who the hell was this Captain Richard guy that
Always
people
this
kept
Captain
naming
Richard.
systems of?
Hell
And why
yeah.
is there? And why is on one side of the galaxy there's Captain Richard's butt, and on the other side there's Captain Richard's head?
There
How
you
did
go.
that happen? Who was this person that traveled from one end to the other and named
Probably
them?
what will happen is like in every other game, other people not even knowing who Captain Richard is will start to name their stuff that, and it'll
Exactly.
just perpetuate,
Yeah,
and then you'll have
pretty
the
soon
galaxy
half
of Richard.
Yeah, half of the galaxy is named after Captain Richard, and nobody knows why except for like
I don't know.
a few dozen of us.
You just do it. It's part of the game.
And he'll just probably never even play the game either. So
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. A dozen of us are
Yeah.
going to name everything Captain Richard.
Can I reserve Captain Richard's left pinky toe?
you got to get there first. You got to get there
Oh.
first.
All right.
Yeah. We have to find a
Come
certain
for
class
tanks.
of
Starter
planet
ship of
to
them
do it.
all.
All right, so
Oh.
let's go on. Let's move on to Mr. McKetton. What game were you wanting to talk about?
The game that interested me the most out of E3 so far is Mass Effect Andromeda.
Nice.
I've been following the rumors about it for a long time because I'm a huge Mass Effect fan, but I've been very cautious about it because Mass Effect 3 was a bit of a letdown for many reasons. It was great storytelling, and it was terrible storytelling at the same time. But the rumors that came out about Mass Effect Andromeda, the stuff that was hinted at in interviews and whatnot, was largely confirmed this last week with E3, and some of those rumors are at least 100 planets that we can land on and drive a Mako on, and those planets are massive, much bigger than anything that's ever been done before. It's going to be 64-bit, they said. The galaxy itself is 4 times the size of the galaxy in Mass Effect 3. There's going to be some sort of resource harvesting / settlement building gameplay, much like Fallout 4 has. Let's see, what else is there? Some of the things they've announced. 100% seamless. There will be no loading screens. That's huge because Mass Effect is well known for its horrible loading screens.
Oh god.
So they're saying it's going to be 100% seamless, no loading screens. We do know now that the story takes place. It starts sometime during Mass Effect 3, but the ARC ships launch before the ending of Mass Effect 3, before the choice is made. So the choice has no effect on the game. But the travel itself takes hundreds of years before you arrive in the Andromeda Galaxy, and basically you arrive there with several ARC ships, and your goal is to establish a Milky Way presence in the Andromeda Galaxy. And of course, there's other people already living there that you got to contend with. You got to make alliances or fight with them. You know, the standard Mass Effect stuff. There was a couple things that's been announced. Oh, verticality will make an appearance. Jetpacks, jumping for the first time. You'll be able to
That's
go up
really
and down.
Fantastic.
It's going to be on the Frostbite 4 engine, I think it is.
I think you're right.
The same one that Battlefield 4 is. I believe Battlefield 4 is on, or is it? I know Battlefront's on it. I don't know if Battlefield 4 is on Frostbite 4 or not. But
I know they're on Frostbite. I can't remember if it's 4 or not,
Yeah.
though. They definitely use that for the destructible environments, and it does a lot better physics processing than a lot of the other stuff.
there's a couple other little things that are going to show up. Like the armor is going to be modular. It sounds like much like the again referencing Fallout 4, the way the power armor is done in Fallout 4. So you'll be able to mix and match pieces. You could kind of do that in Mass Effect 2 and 3, but not really. It was mix and match styles more than individual pieces. Shepard has literally nothing to do with this other than she apparently sends you on the mission. That's it. The family's different. It's the Ryder family, not the Shepard family. And here's a big one, big departure from the Mass Effect series. You are not the hero to start out with. You're just an average everyday person. Whereas in Mass Effect,
Brilliant.
you start out as the hero. I mean, Shepard as a hero. Whereas this, you start out as a regular person, and it's going to mimic the hero's journey story, where you have to, build yourself up, learn your skills. You might not be combat oriented at all. There's going to be There's going to be a somewhat grand strategy involved in it. They said you might be able to hire mercenary squads to do missions for you, as opposed to you going out and doing them, etc. So, yeah, it sounds pretty freaking impressive.
Yeah, I mean, and this we all know the storytelling from all the Mass Effects is solid too. So you imagine this one with the amount of development time. 'Cause when was the last one made? It's been 4 years, I think, since Mass Effect 3 came out. So I imagine this is going to be pretty good stuff.
Well, here's BioWare and EA learned a brutal lesson from Mass Effect 3, because while it did well, it did not do well. The critics loved it. The players, not so much. Like, if you look at user reviews versus critic reviews, very different. They actually, in 2013, apparently they did a bunch of focus group testing, they were saying at E3, where they went out and they found, I guess, Mass Effect players that were, known in the community, whatever, like YouTubers, I guess, and did these focus group testing where they brought them in or sent them internal builds or something of the initial, kind of the precursors for what's going to be Mass Effect Andromeda, to get these people a feel of what needs to be changed and what works and what doesn't. So apparently a lot of actual working with Mass Effect fans has gone into making this game.
Yep.
So and that's, hopefully that'll make a difference, because as I think a lot of people, Mass Effect 3, the fans were the most disappointed because of the ending more than anything, and the way that the Mass Effect has prided itself on being this game where your choices make a difference and your actions make a difference. And then at the very end of Mass Effect 3, all of that went out the window. And it was just like, no matter what you did, the same thing was going to happen. It was just going to happen in a slightly different manner,
Yeah,
just
I
different
think
color scheme.
Yeah, it seemed like it was a wrap-up thing, like a wrap-up to the trilogy, if you will, more than something that was the same thing, like in 2 or 1.
Drew Capuchin, and I can't remember who the other writer was, but there was 2 writers. I don't know if they were fired or if they voluntarily left BioWare right in the middle of the making of Mass Effect 2. But Mass Effect 2 was essentially done, and they left. So they weren't there for Mass Effect 3, but they had outlined a bunch of it. Apparently, for whatever reason, their story was decided to was scrapped. A lot of it was scrapped. But not enough, but it was like half of it. So the first half of the game of Mass Effect 3 mirrors a lot of what they were going to do, but then it just goes in the opposite direction. Like, the big bad guy was supposedly going to be dark energy, not AI or whatever. It was going to be this thing that exists on the outside of the universe that was creeping in and threatening to destroy our life as we know it. And part of the big bad choices you were going to have to make was siding with the Reapers. The Reapers have been planning on fighting this whatever it was for millions of years, so they've got a better plan. Maybe they have a better plan than you, Shepard, do. So maybe siding with the Reapers would be a better way of fighting this stuff off. That kind of thing. There's going to be a much more brutal kind of a decision.
That'd be interesting to see if they go back to any of those roots of those type of storylines in this series or here. So that'd be kind of neat.
They did say they're going for a lot more gray area stuff too. They said there's going to be a lot of stories there where it's not going to be obvious what the good or bad decision is right away.
A little more moral conflict. That sounds good.
And also another thing they said they're doing with the conversation, something that they're doing in Star Citizen as well. Mm-hmm. Apparently you have the ability to interrupt a conversation and alter it that way. So, like, walking away from somebody because you're pissed off at them, pull your gun on them to intimidate them, things like that.
Shoot their pinky toe off would be great. Pinky toe.
So, needless to say, I'm pretty excited about Mass Effect Andromeda, and I was I haven't purchased a new EA game since Mass Effect 3 because I was so disappointed with the problems that came from that. So pretty much every EA game I bought or I've played since then, I've either bought long after it came out or it was gifted to me. And Mass Effect Andromeda is one of the first that I'm really considering purchasing again.
I'd have to say Origin is like my evil crutch where I uninstall it on a regular basis and reinstall because there's always like some cool game it's not because EA's brilliant, it's because they're brilliant at absorbing companies that make good games. So we get these little Origin, IPs that are really good.
As much as we hate on EA, I got to say Origin is one of the better platforms out there for getting games. I mean, first of all, they have On the House. Every month there's something free. Second of all, their return policy is second to none when it comes to online game distribution. It's pretty much if you want money back for the game, you get it.
If they had friends and family set up over there, that'd be the end all for me. The friends and family that Steam offers is the only thing Steam has in my book, other than the ability to trade and use credits a little bit better. So the trading and the share programs that Steam has, if Origin ever gets that, which knowing EA is the owner of that old company, probably won't happen. I could see Origin taking over completely at some point down the line, but they'd have to have a better use policy on that. But the game quality is off the chart. The deal's off the chart. Matter of fact, Origin Access we've been talking about a lot. There's a lot of games, including the full series of Mass Effect available, the full series of Battlefield, all that stuff available right now for $5 a month. That's insane. So, all right, so let's move along. Moonshine.
By the way, speaking of Steam, the Steam sale starts the 23rd. In case you guys don't know, the summer sale starts the 23rd of this month.
They're just trying to take all my money before October.
All of you that spent money on the Drake today, you might want to think twice about that because that Steam sale's coming up.
Well, it's a little late now, Eric. Thanks a lot. $300 package bought. Sorry. All right, Moonshatter, what you got for us? What was your thing?
Okay, I went with something to stay in theme of all the space games coming out, and this game originally garnered 2.9 million dislikes, but 2-3 days ago they released some gameplay, and I'm talking about Call of Duty Star Citizen. I mean Call of Duty Infinite Warfare.
Oh, the trolls are just lighting up now. It's like, what did you say? Get over here.
Well. I don't know if you're queuing it up, but you'll see. There it is. Okay,
the cool part too, the assault, the ship assault one.
Yeah,
the ship assault.
Awesome.
Yeah, this is it. I'm watching it right now myself. So like they're gonna show off some like you'll see them walking through the ship, kind of like everything like we're kind of like wanting to do with like the Javelin or with the Idris. But then they show EVA. And I guess I'll kind of watch this as well. But it looks so good. Like this is very Star Citizen-y.
Well, yeah, especially that looked like a Bengal at first. That shit.
I'm looking at this right now.
I can honestly
this looks so good.
This is the first time in at least 2 months, maybe 3, that I got trolled off Reddit for even mentioning the fact that I wanted to see some of these game mechanics. I don't want the single player game. I don't want the rail shooter, but. These game mechanics, these effects, it's not a rail shooter. Exactly.
It's not a rail shooter.
It's not on rails. They've made that clear several times.
Yep.
These are
just like there where they showed. You can choose your target in it. You can choose what ship to engage, and then once you get out here in space, you are not like flying a path and being the gunner. You have 360 autonomy to fly around and dogfight.
Fly where you want.
Now
it looks crazy. Like the combat looks. I mean, like we're so used to Star Citizen, it looks so much more hectic than like anything like we're used to.
I would say when people say it's on rails, just they talk about how you're only in these certain small areas. It's on rails in the same way that Arena Commander is on rails. Then if you're going to go with that, because you're stuck in a certain map when you're fighting an Arena Commander, but you're not being forced to fight a certain way or fly a certain direction or anything like that.
But you're flying up next to these destroyers and.
I think the thing that gets so critical specifically about this game too is when we use the terminology on rails, it's not what it used to mean. Rails used to be, hey, you're the gunner, you're on the train, you're fighting the guy, and that's it. It has a linear story progression. You have a couple paths to get there. You're going to have to kill some of the same ships and do some of the stuff to get there, but you have a little more autonomy in how to get to that end game. You know, so... And I understand.
A bunch of those last couple of Call of Duty games were like on rails, like where you were on that snowmobile and stuff like that.
Absolutely,
you have to follow their lines. But this looks so good.
It looks really good to me. It looks really good to me, and I understand it's going to be faster. And I'm not saying Star should. And once you see this, do all this stuff, but it's really good.
Once you see the EVA and like when he puts the C4 on the glass and that blows up, when he grapple hooks the guy in,
grappling hooks. That's my answer to all the stuff in as far as the EVA mechanics in Star Citizen.
Yeah,
how awesome would that be to have a grappling hook? Now, I'm not saying throw it across the map. Still use the EVA system, but when you're trying to board a vessel, and we're sitting there like floating like this, listen to my suit leak out air, the entire time I'm trying to get in the ship. Just throw a grappling hook, pull yourself that 6 feet in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. Done deal. I mean, I think that's amazing.
See, I love the sequence we're watching right now, and unfortunately for me, it's going to be, I'm watching it. There's a delay here, so I'm talking about a sequence that the viewers just watched a bit ago. Yeah. But approaching the ship, they're spinning. It looks like a combination of the opening scene to Episode 3 of Star Wars and any of the big battle scenes from Battlestar Galactica. And both of those sequences are just freaking awesome in my book. They're the epitome of the arcade style of space combat that we also expect to see from Star Citizen. Much as people talk about simulation and whatnot, Chris has made it very clear that the combat in Star Citizen is supposed to have that World War II action movie arcade feel to it, not a true simulation of space combat.
And I noticed Tut up here said IGN said it's more like a World War II than futuristic. Well, that's probably the same review they'll give Star Citizen, because all the ships, the combat is designed that way, because as we've said, futuristic combat when it comes to spaceships is not fun. Because stuff just instantly dies. It's like boom, boom, boom. You just push buttons and that's it.
It not just instantly dies. It also means that there are hours and days of waiting. Real combat in space would be you plot a fire solution months in advance in some cases, but days in advance, weeks in advance, and you fire it and you wait to see if you hit that target that's on the other side of the solar system or whatever. And then once they detect incoming, all they got to do is make a minute change and you miss, and then you do it all over again.
The computers would be aiming everything. It'd be boring.
Oh, it'd be 100% computers and drones. We would have almost no input into combat in space.
And again, I looked at Star Citizen's gonna have higher fidelity to this. It's not going to be as fast, but I mean that's not really what we want for Star Citizen. We don't want it to be full arcade and all that type of stuff. But at the same time, some of these mechanics, like the anti-gravity grenades, the grappling hooks, those things could be simple solutions in my mind for a lot of the problems that we've experienced. Look how much time they spend on certain aspects of EVA, and then once we go to boarding, that's all going to come back up again. These are some solutions that I think would be really interesting to see. Do I want Star Citizen to be Call of Duty? No. Do I want them to not be so turtled in that they don't look at other games and say, hey, we should take that? We already do that with the spaceship. Instead of the rifle butt, I want that melee combat where you rip off the guy's face mask. How awesome would that be in Star Citizen? Break through their glass shield on their helmet and they just die and asphyxiate.
All inside missions and
I would like to see what their multiplayer is fully like. Have we seen a lot of that? Because even if they had, you imagine fighting through the hulls of a spaceship would be cool. In this, I think that would be neat. And given it would be arcadey and more linear, like what Call of Duty is, that would still be cool to me. I think that'd be neat.
As a map, why not?
Why not?
Their maps are always so self-contained and small in the first place.
Or
why
webs
not
if
do
you
it
had
on
two
the
carriers and you were dogfight to get rid of the air guy and you had to take the bridge crew out, and maybe that was that.
I'm not gonna. Something about watching this reminded me of the way actually that I'm trying to figure out how to explain this without getting too spoiler. The way the missions were described in Squadron 42 by GameStar magazine when they actually saw some of the missions back in October. And that's missions follow a very similar concept of you start out and you kind of plot out your method of attack, what assets you're going to use, and then you do that. But the missions themselves are still going to be somewhat linear, and that's very much how Squadron 42 is probably going to be too. And so this might be another an interesting kind of preview and a great
Warfare. Was what's it called? I forget what it's called. But the first game that they came out with, Modern Warfare 1.
The very first time I'm interested in investing in Call of Duty. Normally, I'm coming from the combat veteran background, where I look at the Call of Duty series and hit it square on the nose. For me, this game is everything I ever expected a Battlestar Galactica game to be, and this game has all of those Battlestar Galactica moments to it, down to launching your little pod fighter out of a tube from this. I'm looking forward to seeing what it's going to be.
I want to see what the multiplayer is like, but it's definitely on my short list of games. There's a lot of other stuff I'm going to get before this, but this definitely looks cool.
Responses to it, and it cracked me up, was one of the guys saying, this is BS. Why would you have ballistic weapons in space? Well, first of all, if that's your reason for not liking this over Star Citizen, you obviously haven't been paying attention to Star Citizen, because we have a shitload of ballistic weapons in space. But I love that because every time whenever somebody mentions why ballistic, this has been brought up many times. All I think of is, again, going back to Mass Effect, that quote from Mass Effect 2, that Sir Isaac Newton is the meanest son of a bitch in space. It was 18 kilogram slug accelerated at 1.3% the speed of light, hits with the force of a nuclear bomb. So when you fire that, you are going to be ruining somebody's day somewhere, sometime. That's. Yep. But I just love that was one of the reasons why they objected to it. Ballistic weapons in space. That
Sure. Yeah. We'll see
it
what's going
looks
on.
like it's just a flesh wound.
Put a little peroxide.
Yeah.
You're all right.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is my hand look okay there?
It's all right. It's all right.
More
A
bandages.
little more
I see
bandages.
worse.
Maybe
But,
maybe a rewrap.
H1Z1, they split it into 2 games. One is the Battle Royale, which is like the full-on PvP. Everybody kills everybody, and they all die. Not my game style. I've played it a few times. But then there's the other game that more along my lines is the Just Survive. That's where it's more of a survival game. You get to build up like a fort. You get to acquire items. I mean, if you die, you lose all your stuff. But if you're well equipped, you just go re-equip at your fort and you keep going. And they've been doing a lot of changes on the game lately. They've wiped the map a few times where you got to start over. So they've been changing AI on the zombies and the animals a lot. They're coming out with a new map that's going to be much, much bigger and look a lot nicer. So they're actively developing the game. So if you like survival games, if you like zombie games, just keep an eye on it. So it's fun.
Cool. Definitely cool.
I kind of got back into that this week as well.
I feel better now. Okay.
King of the Kill. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
think it's fun. I mean, one of my favorite streamers, Duck Sauce, I watch, and that's like his staple games, H1Z1. So he loves the H1Z1. But and I think it was good for the community for them to divide that into 2. A lot of people were kind of like, don't do that. But them dividing 2, it allowed the PvPers to focus on PvP and allowed the survivalists to enjoy the game they want to. And I think it reinvigorated the community to a certain level because I've seen a lot more activity.
There was a lot of test streamers who played it together, like for fun. And initially, when that was announced, they were all pissed off about it. They'd say they thought it was a bad idea. But now that it's been done, it's been the exact opposite. Like you said, it really did reinvigorate them because the ones that played that like the battle royale aspect of it, they now have a game devoted to that. The ones that like the survival aspect of it, they have a game devoted to that, and they're developing both of them actively. And in a way that it doesn't infringe upon the other, which was the problem before, is that if you made a change to one, you made a change to the other by doing that. And they weren't necessarily good changes in some cases. It's kind of like the problem we see with Arena Commander versus the PU, is that sometimes a change to the PU negatively affects a positive change to the PU is a negative one to Arena Commander.
Absolutely. All right, I'm going to
Daybreak also gets a lot of hate.
They do.
They with EverQuest or Landmark.
Well,
and everything also, after the whole Sony split.
Yeah, even with H1Z1 though too, it's like they basically kept that in like alpha beta phase for like ever, and a lot of people say, well, we never saw a graphical improvement of the game from beta to what they considered launch, and I think a lot of people missed the point. It wasn't for an improved graphics, for operation, make it fun, make it persistent, and make it something that people could dive into and get what they want, and the people that get that really enjoy it, and I don't think you have to be high res to enjoy a game. Certain games I love that are high res, but I also like them to just be able to run on a computer and play with my friends. So there's something about that too. All right, I'm going to kind of cheat on mine because I got 2. I can't just do one because I can't decide. But I'm going to talk about initially here, and I know people kind of ho-hum sometimes about FPSs, and EA once again. But I like Battlefield 1. Battlefield 1, I think, is going to be an amazing game. It's a genre that's not really tapped a lot as far as time period. I mean, we've seen a lot of Battlefield, a lot of shooters and stuff, but I like Battlefield over any other FPS series as far as that goes. But specifically, being in World War I, being in the older gadgetry type tanks and the biplanes, I'm so sick of it. One thing I got tired of in Battlefield 3 and all the others was the modern day air fight because there's never enough map for a modern day aircraft to really go. But here, even a larger map like you see here, you have the biplanes that can get that Red Baron style fighting. You can have tail gunners. You have the big blimps, the anti-aircraft balloons, the motorcycles, all the classic weapons. Lots of destructible environments, and just a good effing time overall. You know, so it's
did you see when that Zeppelin blew up?
Oh yeah,
That's pretty
crashed
cool.
on the map, it leveled everything, and just changed the map. It was
just
so
classic
awesome.
Battlefield with their Levolution type stuff they do. That thing can come down anywhere and persists on the map. So instead of just having, hey, you blow up the bridge and the bridge just blows up, it drops down and you gotta go through the twisted steel and all the different elements of it. And like I said, you're using artillery, classic-based weapons. So, and it's the thing I found really surprising about it for me too is the fact that it's actually pretty fast-paced. It's if you look at the gameplay trailers, the actual gameplay that we saw on it, and we'll throw a little bit of up here in the background. I'm not going to play 50 minutes of it by any means after this commercial's done. Even though, you know, she's cute with her iPad. Anyway, we'll go. The whole thing is it's pretty quick. You know, it's like we saw people when they were doing the celebrity game playthrough. They were able to run real quick. Here we go. They're able to move around inside these maps.
Actually, take a look at the rock.
Pull it back up. Yeah, and the destructible windmills, all the stuff. I mean, it's a lot faster paced than what I thought. It felt somewhere in between like a Battlefield 4 and a Call of Duty type speed. More like probably what they did with Hardline. Hardline was a little faster paced than 4 because if you go from playing Hardline back to Battlefield 4, you feel like you're wearing muddy boots because it slows down that much. But the other aspect of this, which I thought was amazing, they have spectating mode. You can jump into 64-player maps, do free camera fly all around. And this is not only on PC, it's on console that way, too. You can do it. They also have weather environments that statically change, dynamically change during the match. So you could be sitting there in rain. It could go from rain to light fog to sunny and change the map in just a matter of moments. So that's really cool. And the mini-map that you blow up now is not just a static map of the things. It'll show live exactly what's happening. You can see the troops moving live on the ground. That's impressive stuff to me for a game that's, you know, same genre's been out forever, but they're doing some technologically cool stuff on a older time period. So it's really neat. I can't wait for this, and you're all going to play it. So
do you know if there's like a campaign mode in this where it's story-driven, or is this going to be purely...
And this is where some of the issues have come from, because it's like EA put on a great spread this year. They showed Mass Effect, Andromeda, they showed Battlefield 1. They pretty much
I think most people would say
they knocked it out of the park. They showed some of the best stuff out there, and then they had to go and be EA. There is a campaign, and the campaign focuses on the French. Now, the way that the EA phrased this, and it was a translation from another language, so it's not entirely accurate, but to really do justice to the French army in multiplayer, and once again to show a side that we're not used to seeing, we have chosen to dedicate an entire premium expansion with special treatment after the launch of the game. You can play the French in single player, that's the campaign, but to play the French in multiplayer is a paid DLC, because France really didn't have a big role in World War I. I think most people are unfamiliar with that, but it really just kind of skirted the edges of France. Really didn't do much at all in France. That First World War. It was mostly in France, actually. Pretty much the vast majority of it was in France. But yeah. So it's going to be a paid DLC. So, EA knocks it out of the park, and everybody praises them, and they immediately go and announce that. It's just like, God damn it, EA.
Yeah, exactly.
It was so close to winning.
But you can see this biplane action up here. Like, that's my type of air combat. That looks amazing to me, because it's going to be more thought out and fun and those type of aspects. But Pratchett here is stealing my thunder. He's talking about the other game that I'm going to talk about, which is Dual Universe.
Well, I think he's. Is it duel as in two or duel as in fight?
Duels in two.
DUAL.
Okay. Well, then he didn't steal your thunder because he misspelled it.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, then he changed it down. He corrected himself. He caught it. This game, now, while we're waiting for Star Citizen or whatever, this is like it's argumentative whether this is going to be out before or after Star Citizen or whatever, because they're still in pre-alpha as well. And
I believe they said something like 2018 is their target date.
Yeah, they're going to be like I said, no promises on when Star Citizen is going to be totally out. We have hopes next year, but we never know. But this game looks really cool. Graphically, it's not quite as intense, but it is pre-alpha as well. But you can create your own spaceships. You can create your own buildings. You can create your own multi-crew ships. You can fly, as you're seeing here on the video. You'll be able to fly in a seamless, fully editable, single-shard universe from ground up to space and back down again, through asteroids, all that stuff. It is a full, economically driven, player-based economy. So you will actually influence the entire economy. You can actually make spaceships and sell the spaceship you make. If you have a great design, you can resell the design. You can make a company in it. You can make a bank in it. It's almost like a Minecraft meets EVE Online meets like Star Citizen, all wrapped up into one from those aspects. And I read a huge blog, if you guys go check it out, on territorial control. They actually talk about you can own territory in the planets, not only as a company, not only as a nation, but as an individual. And then you can sell those territory markers or take them from other people. Or if you, say, all of us in this room decided to claim territory, we would go up and then we could actually decide to unify and become a nation and unify our territory together. You can lease your territory to each other. You can rent it out. You can do all the aspects that all these other games, including EVE, had to develop over time. They're wrapping it all into one. So it's a very ambitious game, and it will take a while to develop. But it looks amazeballs.
That's the thing that blew me away more than the demo was the scope that they announced, because people give Star Citizen crap for its insane scope, but Dual Universe is pushing the scope even further than that.
Further.
So it'll be interesting to see if they can pull it off. I don't know. The reason why I believe Star Citizen can pull it off is because the people behind it, they have a history of being able to do the impossible. I don't know the people behind Dual Universe. I don't know what their history is when it comes to developing amazing games. So,
yeah, we'll have to. I think time will only tell with it, to be honest. But the fact that they're leaving it open enough to where the players really influence the entire universe is a great departure from the goals of what Star Citizen's doing as far as that aspect. And the fact that you can create a multi-crew ship with your friends and build it and physically build it, not just choose from the selection menu, that's really interesting too. I still am going to love Star Citizen for what they have, but this might be something I definitely dip my toes into because it's so much control there. But, when you give too much control, you also have all the risk. So there's lots of things, even if they're successful, that could corrupt the economy, the plants, all that stuff. Right. But they're talking about 100-plus players being able to fight in a single zone against each other by launch easily with the way they developed it, because I think they built everything on top of the engine stuff with this design in mind, whereas every other game that we've known and loved up to now has had to adapt what they have in order to create the universe they have. So we'll see. I'm hopeful for them. I think they'll do well. We'll see there. All right.
And as you can see from the video, this scope does come at a cost. They've obviously sacrificed what we would call fidelity, that word that we've learned to love and hate. They've obviously sacrificed it for reaching that scope. And that's in my opinion, that's a perfectly acceptable sacrifice to make. I'm firmly okay. I mean, hell, I play Minecraft, so it's obvious that I am not a that looks are not important. The most important is playability for me.
I think I saw some higher quality video on this game, and it's like a lot of it they were just playing at lower fidelity just to get the frame rate up and for just displaying what it could do. So this is not final, but I think that this will definitely look a lot better with the final game.
I agree. And if you look at a lot of the screens they have, the lens flares, the space, all that stuff looks really good. Some of the terrain, all that stuff. Yeah, it's not there yet. But at the same time, they're using the same type of like LOD type tech and all that stuff that you see in other games where they're actually, as you get closer, it looks better.
Here's the thing, I did as much digging on information as I could about it. There wasn't really that much out there that's in depth, but I'm starting to think that the term dual universe references the fact that there's two planets, and that's it. And I think what it means is because of how close together those two planets are, is that that might be it's two large planets, but fully formed planetary-sized planets, so plenty of room for hundreds, thousands, millions of people to play around on. with the space around them. But I'm starting to get, and the more I watch this video over and over again, the more I'm feeling that that's what it is that the scope is going to be limited to those 2 planets, at least initially, you know. But again, that's not a bad idea. If you can fit all of that playability in that small of an area, by all means, fucking do it. I'll be all over that shit.
Well, I'll tell you right now that from my reading here, it's like even the actual description here: Dual Universe is a sandbox first-person MMO RPG set within a seamless sci-fi universe made of millions of planets. The world is entirely editable. That means you can put building anywhere on it you possibly could want. And the game focuses on massive scale emergent gameplay based around exploration, voxel building, trade politics, and warfare. That is a huge scope. I know they're only showing the 2 right now, but pre-alpha, but they're talking about all those aspects. They're also talking about millions of planets in it.
The reason why I fell back on the 2 planets specifically is what I'm talking about at launch specifically. Is the those 2 planets that they're showing. Beyond that, just because it says that it's a universe of millions of planets doesn't necessarily mean those are planets you can play in. You know, that's true. It could be that's just the universe itself is that it's, you know. So, but
you're not going to want to go build a house on another planet, and you'll just get wiped out by whoever lives there. You know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, if it's going to be realistic, millions of planets still means only 1 in a million are habitable. You know, that's the other thing about that.
Absolutely. And the atmospheres be different and all that stuff. But it's they say you can do everything for advanced players, the ability to script, construct, LUA to define how it is controlled.
I hate Lua scripts.
Yeah, there you go.
That was one of the downfalls of Second Life was adding in Lua.
From navigation to weapon systems, you can even script your own AI to assist you. And then the dangerous thing, even if they get it off the ground, is the economy. The economy in Dual Universe is realistic and influenced by the masses. Initiate a market exchange, harvest resources, and sell them. Start an industrial empire, do marketing and logistics, create your own bank or your own company. There's positive and negatives, which we talked about to our blue in the face about that, where it could go great, but anytime you have that type of economy, it can be manipulated by a larger entity pretty quickly. So we've seen that in EVE a lot. So
can you imagine, you know, and going back to that, people talk about, you know, how they'd like to see more of that flexibility in Star Citizen. Can you imagine if that flexibility was there, if that power was there, what Test Squadron could do? Yeah. We have 10,000 members now.
Yep.
The largest org by far. And the kind of power that we would wield at the launch of the game alone, if we did have that kind of economic power, it's terrifying. So, you know, and we've seen in EVE how that has gone south. You know, you've been playing EVE for a long time.
Yep.
I played it a long time ago. I don't know how bad it's gotten recently, but I know in the past there were instances where pretty much the entire economy was brought to its knees by one dude who threw a fit. Basically, he was pissed off and he was part of a big corporation that had a lot of power, and he just decided to dump all their assets on the market and drove everything down. To a certain
degree. Yeah, there's some heavy stuff in there, and CCP, the company that makes EVE Online, is very hands-off. They're very supportive of the player influence and stuff, and I do appreciate that aspect from them, but at the same time, those things happen, but they work themselves out because nobody's infinitely wealthy. But in the more recent combat aspects of EVE Online, and thank you guys for the follows. Sorry, I didn't get all the alerts turned off all the way, I guess. The more recent aspects of that, basically what removed Goonswarm from their space was partly because, you know, EVE allows gambling sites. And we're talking out-of-game gambling sites. And these are for only ISK, but ISK has almost this outside monetary, you know, RMT value and stuff. But you can go to the site, you can actually API link, which we're hoping so much for Star Citizen to have the API linkage so you can make apps and all these different things outside of the game so we can track. But they go so far as to allow these apps to synchronize your money. You trade your money in-game to a... I guess it would be the same thing as buying chips at a casino. You play this out-of-game thing with slots and all that stuff, and they had all this market pool. Well, they made so many trillions of ISK inside this, they basically funded the war against goons because they didn't like them. So a gaming site outside of the game funded the entire war against them and removed them pretty much from all their territory. The one thing that could never break them ended up being the thing that broke them the most was an outside gaming site, which was hilarious. So but it makes it more real, right? It's one of those things where you can do all sorts of stuff. I know Val, says he plays EVE, but Val almost just plays the gambling sites with the ISK from EVE Economy now than anything else. So it's still interesting. But yeah, I think this would be good. I think it's going to have it's higher fidelity than what Minecraft is, but I think they're really going for this create everything type aspect. And it just depends. Some of that could be overwhelming to people, so it could be really awesome. We'll just have to see. But I'm pumped.
Yeah, like I said, the thing that makes me pause on this is, I'm Googling the names of the 3 members of the executive team right now, and I'm not popping up anything special.
Yeah.
Yep. They're all, and that doesn't mean that they're not going to succeed. I mean, once again, you look back, both Braben and Roberts were nobody when they created Elite and Wing Commander.
Yep.
Hell?
I don't know. Apparently, you have chainsaws and motorcycles in your house.
Let the devil dog in.
Yeah.
What the?
I don't know. But yeah, just like that, I mean, it could be any aspect, and we'll just have to follow along. Again, it's pre-alpha. There's nothing to spend money on at this point, but I think it's definitely a cool game to kind of keep an eye on and watch. So I think it could be fun. Unless they charge you like $400 to get into it. Who knows? We'll see. All right. Well, that's all the games that I had to talk about. Otherwise, we can just touch upon a little bit of Star Citizen stuff and start to get everybody out here. This week in Star Citizen, yeah, not a lot.
Basically, the Dragonfly.
Dragonflies.
That's a lot. Come on.
The Dragonfly is cool. Yeah.
The Caterpillar
Caterpillar walkthrough. I was crying today, man.
Yeah,
there you go.
It was awesome.
There you go.
So good.
Yeah, the Dragonfly was released today.
purchasable again.
Yes, and the Caterpillar is purchasable with LTI attached if you buy the package, because I
just did that.
Yeah, and that's what I did. I went ahead. I was arguing in my own brain against getting the 2 bundle of the 2 Dragonflies, or just buying one, or just doing what I wanted to do there. Because the motorcycle's cool, guys. For $35, I think it's a cool ship to have. Why not? You don't have to get it, but I don't know, especially for all you testies in here. I don't know why you wouldn't when it's a limited edition yellow one. That's what I'd be ka-chinging on it anyway.
Right.
Well, I had a Caterpillar with 3 years insurance, so I went ahead and melted that, kicked in a little bit extra, and got the package with the two Dragonflies, which I wanted that anyways.
And LTI on all 3.
Yeah.
And now I got LTI on all 3. So it is cheaper than if I had just kept the Caterpillar and bought 2 more Dragonflies. So it's like, why not?
I love the concept of the Caterpillar, and I'm still considering melting a bunch of my other smaller ships and getting it just because I've wanted a Caterpillar for a long time. But the Dragonfly itself, I'm okay. It's nice, I guess. It's just, we've said this before. I'm getting tired of just all we're hearing about is ships. I want to hear about something else.
This is something else. It's not really a spaceship. It's something else going to add a new element to gameplay.
Still a ship, as far as I'm concerned, though. I mean, it's not, I want to hear about those other elements.
This is probably the ship that is going to introduce cargo into Star Citizen. They are building a tractor beam system into it. The modules that come standardized with it are all cargo based. So I
think it's going to be a great raider ship. I think it's going to be a great, even for the tractor beam for loading and unloading on planets cargo, meh. I'm not really convinced on, because I think you're going to be able to load like the hulls real easy, the Starfarers, all that stuff. But the tractor beam
No, that's not what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about going out to Yela and salvaging in a Caterpillar and going out to these debris fields, and instead of just clicking on the use button to mock pick up a bottle of liquor, I'm actually using a tractor beam to pull in not only the cargo units themselves with the liquor bottles inside, but I can pull aboard the actual salvage. And who knows, if there's room enough for it, if the pieces are small enough, maybe you can get some kind of low AUEC return for something like that. But then you start to see salvage, you start to see cargo, you start to see the need for new multi-crew positions on board ships.
Yeah.
Look at the Starfarer. It has 2 positions if you don't count turrets.
Yeah.
That is a massive ship. It needs more crew positions, just like McKetton's saying. And I think that the Caterpillar is going to be one of those ships that starts to bring that in. Look at the HUD system they're designing for it.
Yeah.
we're going to be able to track each other for the first time.
I'm interested in how you attach and detach to the modules to it. I'm interested in what other modules for the Caterpillar are going to come out with and how effective those are going to be. There's a lot of aspects to it. I think it's going to be a great utility ship if you want to ship in that range without going all the way up to like a massive freighter or going all the way down to like something highly specialized, and you want a general use, good, large-sized multi-cruise ship. I think the Caterpillar is very, very good and fits that bill.
Yeah, it's a great alternative to a Constellation.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
That's why I'm
especially with the
for it.
Dragonfly now, because the Constellation can have one snub fighter, but the Caterpillar can have up to 3 Dragonflies per cargo module.
Well, I will say this in relation to what you're talking about with the snub on the Connie and stuff, but you could probably put 2 Dragonflies down there in that hangar too, along with having your snub fighter, because I could see that if it fits in the back of the Freelancer, I bet you can put side-by-side Dragonflies pretty easily down to the bottom, so you could launch like a small fleet off your mini Connie. So if you love the Connie, no reason to get rid of it, but if you are interested in the Caterpillar, next 10 days is a great time to pick one up because you still get ALTI on it.
And look, in case...
The one thing I don't get is why they are making this a 10-day sale, because that means they missed the first of the month, when a lot of people will be getting paid and be interested in buying it. That's what I don't get. Because 10-day sale puts it at, what, 27th, 28th?
Yeah. It's
still not the first, payday's like 2 days later for the vast majority of people. I don't get that one.
They might get down to that.
I don't think they're looking at that. And then the first month is also rent, so that's also not a good time for...
They're trying to get people before all their bills are due.
If instead they made it straight a 2-week sale, that puts it at the first of the month. So there are people then that might be making a purchase that otherwise wouldn't be making.
Maybe they'll extend it a couple days.
They sometimes.
I'm sure they will.
A lot of times that Ben comes on, and it's like, and we're going to extend that sale because it's so popular for another 2 to 3 days. I've seen them do
10 days is their standard concept sale lately. So,
but I will put this out there for those of you that are Imperators. You should have recently got your, if you still have your Imperator coupon, that's a 20% off.
Yeah.
That's like that'll get you that Caterpillar package for $240 as opposed to $300.
That's really good.
And it's important to point out that $300 package, it's $245 for the Caterpillar. It's only $55 for the 2 Dragonflies. So you're actually looking at a $15 discount on a Dragonfly 2-pack if you get that combo deal. So, math.
Sir Volp, I'm not saying living paycheck to paycheck. I'm saying that a lot of people don't purchase things unless they have the money sitting on hand.
Yeah.
Just depends how their paychecks fall. Because even if they're financially stable, they can afford to buy this stuff if they want to. I know, like, we only get paid twice a month over at my house. That's how the pay rolls in. So with that, it's like it timed out okay for me, but for a lot of families it might not. It just kind of depends.
Here's the thing. For me, like again, I get paid once a month, and I am very financially stable. But in the middle of the month, I'm far less likely to spend $300 on a fund purchase because who knows what emergency could happen between now and the end of the month, as opposed to the beginning of the month when there's much more money. Like if I have, if you have $2,000 left in the bank account, but you're getting paid $5,000 the first of the month. That $2,000 left in the bank account is a lot less than that $7,000 is going to be at the first of the month. That kind of thing. You start looking at things like that. It's not just about living paycheck to paycheck. It's about just making purchases when it's the smartest to make the purchase.
Yep. You never know when McKetton might have a meat and steak emergency over there. He might have to immediately go out. It's like it's an emergency meat and steak re-up. We got to do it now, right now.
But also, the other thing, Sir Volpecula, you shouldn't be telling other people how to spend their money.
Yeah.
That is very much, no matter what their situation is, you don't know, and that's not your call.
Yeah, it's hard to... It's really hard for people to not do that, I think, in these games and stuff, and I don't know why, but it's one of those things. And everybody's opinion is respected, but at the same time, I don't want anybody telling me what to buy and not buy. If people want to go out and not buy their food and eat ramen for the next 6 months and they want to buy a spaceship, that's cool. But if Star Citizen wasn't around, the same people would probably go out and buy something else they didn't eat and eat ramen for the next 6 months because it just depends how you are.
we knew these ships were coming this week for a couple of weeks. So and we knew they
Yeah.
were going to be cheap. So if just $35 for one ship, anybody can come up with that.
I was going to say no. The Caterpillar though, did we know the Caterpillar? I thought they kind of dropped that on us as a surprise,
It was
right?
rumored it was going to be out. I think the LTI aspect was a surprise. Because,
the LTI aspect's a surprise. They said they were going to put it up for sale again, but not really when.
And that's more their laziness because they didn't want to reprogram to not have LTI on it in this package bundle. That's That's what it was because they've never done this before. Re-released a ship with LTI like that, and it's just because they didn't want to redo it.
The only thing that they confirmed up until RTV this morning was that there were going to be updates on the Caterpillar. This morning is when they let us know that not only was it going to be on sale, it was going to be on sale with LTI. So that was a nice surprise.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't think you understand what's going on. I'm not complaining about the timing, Servo. I think you're getting confused here. I'm saying I don't understand why they aren't extending it to the first of the month because it makes sense for them from a financial standpoint to make more sales. I'm not saying they shouldn't, I'm not saying, oh, they screwed me by not doing this. I'm not sure. You seem to be confusing what I'm saying here. I'm saying it just makes more sense for them to run it 2 full weeks than in 10 days from a financial standpoint for them.
I doubt they were looking at the first of the month at all. I doubt they took that into factor.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Is I don't think they realized that it would be that close to the first month.
I know that Sandy sits down and goes, "Okay, people are getting their welfare checks the first month, and we may not push out these.
They may not see extra sales at the beginning of the month. Maybe that's not how they're.
I think the beginning of the month is their low period. They're probably looking at the sales according to a marketing strategy based on when they see it selling well and when they're not. I mean, they're not dumb people. They got people that choose it.
Isn't this the end of the third quarter? Second quarter. This is the second quarter financials should be coming out soon. So this might be part of that.
I honestly think that Stoutman was right when he said at first that they weren't even thinking about how can we maximize sales on this. I don't think they think of it that way. And that what is probably going to happen is what you guys said earlier is that as they get closer to the end date, they're going to look at it and go, hey, if we extend this 4 more days, we're going to hit the first of the month when people might be willing to buy more. Yep. So.
But we also don't know financially. We know that they're stable, but we know that CR borrows money to pay payroll like every major company does, right? If you're a funded company, you borrow so you guarantee payroll because you don't hire people on and say, oh, well, I hope we make $1 million next month and do it that way. And then that's how they deal with their banks and their loans and all the other stuff.
It's no different from having a credit card.
If somebody really wants the ship, 10 days is long enough to sell something on eBay, get paid, and buy one. So anybody can get one.
I know you could give blood like 4 times; it'd be fine. I think if you hit 2 different blood banks and 2 semen banks, I think you were great, and you can just go do the sperm bank, the blood bank, and you're covered. Just go for it. I'm waiting for somebody to clip that and be like, "Look, there's zealots about Star Citizen. They're telling you to sell body parts."
Does the Caterpillar package does it come with the games too? No, it doesn't.
No.
It is just ship. You get the Caterpillar, you get the 2 Dragonflies, but you don't get the game. So it's still it's called a package, but it's not a game package.
Correct.
What we normally consider.
Correct. So it's not an actual game package.
It's a ship package.
Ship package.
And you should also take note that the Caterpillar standalone ship comes with the Takuetsu Caterpillar, but the combo pack comes with the Dragonfly model. So if you care about those Takuetsu collectible hanger flare models, that's also something to consider.
So just the model is not in the new package then?
I believe that the Takuetsu Caterpillar is still attached to the standalone Caterpillar. But if you're purchasing the combo pack, that's the Caterpillar and 2 Dragonflies, it comes with the Dragonfly model, not the Caterpillar.
Okay, so just yes, that's my question. Okay.
No.
I don't know if you want to watch it. I put the video in media. And I'm sorry, in the Space Pro show.
Go back and read it.
Made me cry today. Watching it. I had tears.
I'll put it up there. Why not?
So great. Who would have thought that they were this far along on it? I mean, Sandy posted earlier this week showing the engine room, and it was I guess so.
I did. Stout he's just NDA, so he can't tell you.
Yeah.
He's like knew it was this for long. He's like, I already been flying around space. I just can't tell you that.
They've been showing us photos of stuff on this for a while now. They've been pushing it more and more, just like they did with Starfarer. It's getting more and more common.
If you remember, and I know Stout does because we've talked about it before. You remember when they were showing the white boxing on one of the ATVs, and they were doing the interview about the Caterpillar, and they were messing with that clunky tractor beam. He's like, it's so funny showing you guys this because we're so far beyond this right now in this build. And they said that in that interview. Like, he's like, I don't know if I was supposed to say that, but I mean,
and then just goes like, shh, shh.
Yeah, he's like, he's like, don't say more, because they were like going back. That just shows you, like, in those things, just so we don't know fully how far they are, so they can surprise us. They're like going back to old builds, like 6 builds ago, and saying, "Oh yeah, I don't know where the potatoes go." And this like you know, and meanwhile, there's like another guy three computers down that's like flying the thing around, going, I think the doors don't open quite right. We need to fix that a little bit. You know, just flying some grease and oil. They're like, oh, that's good. We're on to the next thing. So I think you'll see these dragonflies, and I wouldn't be surprised to see the Caterpillar sooner than we think. But I think the dragonflies for sure. I think they're done. I really believe the dragonflies are done, and they're just going to look for an optimal time to release them to us. Because
they're small and simple. There's not much to them.
Well, I mean, if you remember, they even mentioned
they're still working out the flight model.
Yeah, but
because of that transformation between
they
those.
also mentioned, though, last year, remember when we voted on whether we wanted the Reliant or the Dragonfly next? And they said straight out today they thought we were going to pick the Dragonfly. I think they had it worked on and basically done then. And they're like, oh, shit, they want the Reliant. And that's why it's taking so long to get the Reliant out and flyable, because they bet on the wrong horse.
Well, they at least had some of it done, so that gave them a head start.
Yep.
Yeah. I thought I voted for the Dragonfly back then.
So did I.
The Reliant just seemed stupid to me.
Wait a minute. I want to recount. Maybe you really did win. It was voter manipulation. I guarantee it. So, yeah. But, yeah, that's a really cool setup, a real cool item. I think it's going to be fun. I mean, if you don't want one, that's fine. I know a lot of guys that I talk to don't even want the Dragonfly, really. They're just happy to have an LTI token for 35. Because let's be honest, there's not going to be a lot more of them. There's not a lot of ships that are going to be below $50 that are going to have LTI on them to upgrade more than anything. I don't think there's that many. I don't know if there's any.
This may be the last one.
It may be the last one for under $50.
Yeah. A lot of people are going to get them just for the LTI, and at $35, it's affordable. Even if you pick up 10 of them, it's $350. If for somebody who's used to buying a lot of ships, or for the streamers like us, they're good for giveaways.
Absolutely. Thank you for the host, Skyhawk. By the way, I want to recognize.
I see a lot of people.
Go ahead.
I see a lot of people doing buybacks if they do melt it as an LTI token once this thing comes flyable.
Well. And one other PSA I want to talk about melting stuff is, like, we saved Moonshiner today because he was seriously talking about melting his Banu. And I was like, never melt the Banu. One rule of Star Citizen is if you already own a Banu, do not melt the Banu, guys. It's going to be so hard to get in the game. And almost, if you have had the thought process to take the time to actually get one, I cannot see a world where you won't regret getting rid of it. Because it's going to be more expensive next time it's for sale. It's probably going to be more awesomer because right now, was it a flat poster on the wall? I guarantee they'll sell it sometime. I don't know when, but it'll be more money for sure.
Yeah.
Every one of ship that size is going to be at least $100 more. At least.
Let's see. I'm reading all the responses to the. Like, nobody's talking about the Dragonfly on, like, Reddit and whatnot.
Yeah.
They're all talking about getting the LTI
the LTI tokens.
That's
the LTI Caterpillar.
Nobody cares.
Because it's never happened. It's literally never happened, so it's more interesting to a lot of people than the Dragonfly itself. Because I think the Dragonfly is an automatic purchase. For people who just want to buy the next great ship that comes out for $35, it's not a big deal to them.
That's how I was. I told you. They announced it. I was like, whoopty shit. Eventually I'll get a Dragonfly in-game. I don't need it right now.
Well,
but, like you said, an LTI Caterpillar, that's a different thing entirely. And I've got a bunch of ships I can melt and afford that thing. And it's, and those, those ships, the LTI Caterpillar's a lot more rare than those ships are. We're talking things like the Beta, the Aurora, things like that. Those are a dime a dozen. But that LTI Caterpillar, that's a little hard to come by.
It's first time. That's a big deal. It's a huge deal. And Workstrom, thank you for the host too, buddy. I'd say the other thing you have to consider with this whole deal is the fact that you have the Caterpillar coming out in this facet. We looked at buying, even if you don't want the Dragonflies, I looked at getting just getting the Caterpillar by itself was like what, 250, 275,
245.
Yeah, 245. So,
but let me say this about that. This is the first time a ship has come back and been presented to you outside of concept sale with LTI at the same price it was offered in concept sale.
Yep. Absolutely.
Well, they're hyping the Caterpillar. They're riding the hype train on it, and why not?
The Caterpillar
standalone
back in the Legacy
months.
days was touted in the community as the evil twin to the Constellation. There are a lot of people that have been waiting for this ship for some time now. So to see it as potentially the next large-scale multi-crew ship coming out after the Starfarer, and you can get it at concept cost,
and you got to prelude that whole
LTI.
thing with. I think it'll be flyable when it comes out when they hand it to us. I think it's going to be like surprise flyable.
Beyond that, it is the most. Let's be honest. All the ships we have in game right now, they tend to look alike. They really haven't developed their distinct appearances. And Drake is one of the first manufacturers they've sat down to really develop that distinctness to it. They're working on it with Aegis, but really Drake is the first.
Yeah.
And they said that's one of the things that was holding back the Caterpillars. They wanted to give it that unique style. And you look at that, and when I look at the video, what I see is the Nostromo, or not the Sulaco, the ship from Aliens, that kind of that industrial, that look that we associate with those 1970s, 1980s gritty science fiction movies.
The cool ones that we based all our dreams and hypotheticals on. It's really good. One more PSA regarding all this stuff. If you guys are looking at it, hard to purchase, and all that stuff is, make sure that you understand a couple things. I know we mentioned at the beginning of this conversation about the package system. If you buy the two Dragonflies, you cannot separate them and give them away. You have to buy the individual ones. If you buy the bundle with the Caterpillar and the two Dragonflies, you cannot give them to your friends. So if you buy them, be aware you can only melt them. You can CCU them. You can upgrade them and use those LTI tokens yourself, but you will not be able to trade pieces of your package off. So that was pretty disappointing to some of us, given you only save $5. But
you can't do that in real life either.
Yeah, it won't let you. It won't.
And
let
if you
do
buy
that.
some Dragonflies, you can get the upgrade tokens to go from black to yellow or yellow to black for free.
So
I bought some today. I just got 5 of each of those just for the heck of it.
Yep, definitely get them, because this is the only time they're going to give the yellow limited edition version. They're going to come out with other colors later. They have like 16, 17 different colors, but this is the only time you get the limited edition. But if you get the limited edition tokens now, if you get the black ones later, you could always upgrade them to that. That's, of course, before launch, but, you're going to be able to do that stuff. So even if you're like, man, I can't get into it now, I want to get one of the limited edition Dragonflies, just get those free ones, the free upgrade tokens, and you'll be able to utilize those and still get the base model.
Somebody said, Mist totally has the design now. Mist does have a look to it, but that's really not reflected in what we're flying in game right now. The Freelancer is still very generic looking compared to the other Mist designs, and that's because the Freelancer we're flying in game now is still an in-between design. We know that it's not quite fully into the rebuild they want to do, but they say they're holding off on that because they're focusing on the Squadron 42 assets.
They're trying to get everything Squadron 42 done. They have a ton of redos and rebuilds in the pipeline that they want to get to, but they're trying to get all the base ships flyable, ready to rock and roll and operate correctly for Squadron 42. Yep. That's the big push, I imagine, not only in the next few weeks, but as they wrap up whatever they're doing with Squadron 42 and they know they have it tight, you're going to see huge amounts of development for the PU come out, because that whole team would be released to work on this project. So,
and the Starfarer, as much as I like the Starfarer, it is an exceptionally generic design looking inside. It really is, and that's not necessarily. I'm not knocking on it by saying that. It just doesn't have anything that's very unique to. That says this was made by Misk or this was made by Aegis when it comes to the Gemini. It's very utility, and that's the way it's supposed to look, but it doesn't stand out because of that. And that's all I'm saying is that I think what we see of the Caterpillar so far and Drake in general, compared to what we've known of Drake in the past, which was just the Cutlass, it's the first to really stand out. And really there's looks to it that says this is Drake. You know, Aegis has that exterior look to it, but not really that interior look. Yeah. Because all their military stuff looks the same.
Yeah.
You know, so
absolutely.
Yeah, that's
all right, guys. Right now, we're going to do a little bit of questions. I know some of the guys are probably going to have to bone out and go here soon. I told them we wouldn't go on forever, but, you know, we always end up hitting our 2 hours. If you have questions and you've already asked them, please just go ahead and repeat them. I won't be like everybody else and be like, oh, if you already said them, say them once, because I won't scroll up. So just go ahead and put them in there, and we'll try to answer any questions you got about our opinions or anything. We won't make Stoutman hold his feet to the fire and tell us anything inside about anything, but
well,
I don't want to burn my teeth.
At least not on the air. We'll find out outside.
If you don't mind, this is actually where I'm going to go ahead and bow out, because I've got about 2 hours left before my deadline with TTV, so I've got to get the last ship finished and in for print.
Go right ahead.
So,
all right. Thanks for being with us tonight, Nighthawk. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah, I really enjoy being here. So, good conversation.
I'm going to go AFK a couple minutes.
Okay.
Have a good night, everybody.
Yep. If we get a follow command for Nighthawk in there, any mods that are still awake, definitely go check Nighthawk out, guys. He's a good streamer. He's been working hard on developing some stuff. Man, I can't even talk. I need more energy drink. Developing some stuff for his Traverse the Verse project he's been working on. So, you know, make sure to give him some love and support on that. It should be a pretty cool little tabletop game, and it's going to hopefully help just augment your experience with Star Citizen. Should be good. Now that everybody's all screwed up in their windows and stuff all over the place. It's like, no, we threw the windows everywhere. See if I can put the puzzle back together again.
Yeah, this is just mainly about me now.
Yeah, just centralize the McKetton right there in the middle.
Drink it in, ladies. Yeah.
The names mean nothing.
This is all for you, Wickstrom. All for you.
All right, as I fix the screen, somebody grab some questions out of there and see if they can do that.
Questions, do you guys think we will see a Caterpillar Master set like we saw with the Endeavor, or will they only ship with the cargo modules? Oh, I think he means the various... Oh, that's a good question. The various like module systems that like the Endeavor had.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see it. I would like to see that kind of a master set, Kato. I don't know if we are going to see it, though.
Isn't that the deal? Right now, like this is just like the base model, like the empty
right.
ship where
all the
just,
you get the cargo ones, yeah, and that's it right now.
Yeah, the question is, will there be more? That is an interesting question.
Yeah, whether they'll sell them in a package, whether they'll sell them individually, yeah, I don't know. It's a great question. I would say they'll probably offer some multiple options because they know with them selling it as a cargo type vessel right now, that people will all have all these cargo ones, but they'll want to buy varying different modules. So I could absolutely see them doing that.
Red Lear wants to know where did babies come from. He directed that at you, Mitachi.
We'll have a private conversation after the show about that. Okay. And I'll bring pictures, video perhaps even.
What other questions do we have?
Wickstrom said, are you hoping the Gemini gets the Aegis interior redesign that Ben kept talking about before the concept hits out?
Yes. Yeah. Because like I said, right now the Starfarer is kind of generic looking. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It doesn't scream Mist to me any more than it screams, Aegis or anything else. It's a ship. Yeah, I would love to see that interior redesign.
Yeah. Really get that stainless steel galley.
I think we had somebody earlier ask about the Polaris and if there was any status update on that. I haven't seen any status update other than they're working on stuff for it, but nothing. I don't think it's been assigned to it.
What's his name? Vorlik, Darren Vorlik. He made a tweet just the other day saying that he now has a new favorite ship, and he wishes he could talk about it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think it was a reference to the Polaris because
didn't they say something about 10 for the developers this week too? He said, "Oh yeah,
somebody else mentioned it. Somebody else mentioned the new Corvette or something recently."
Let me see if I can scroll through and find.
It was
what
on
he said.
10 for the dev stout, I think. He mentioned it, and then she was like, "Oh, I haven't seen it." It's like, "Oh, we'll go look at it after the show." I'm like,
yeah.
What?
Well, they've got all their concept art libraries of tons and tons of stuff, so they've got all kinds of eye candy to look at.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so and there was a lot of people that seemed to think, and I'm not sure what the reason was, if it was just wishful thinking or if there's more to it, that he was talking about the Polaris.
Yeah,
and
I could see the Polaris being the next big concept ship that comes out. I could see the Herald's going to be the next flyable ship I think we get. And then
the Reliant may be the next flyable one.
Well, I hope, but they've been working on that a while.
I think they said Caterpillar and then Herald. In that order is when we'd be getting them, like in the hangar and flyable.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Didn't they say that like a week ago or something? I think it's Reliant, Caterpillar, Herald. I think that's what they said.
That'd be surprising to me, but that'd be cool because the Reliant's the one they've had all the problem with, just because that articulating going from vertical to horizontal and making it make sense and all that stuff. So it took a little longer than I think they anticipated, but yeah.
But it is hangar ready, so it's got that going for it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a history recently of once it's hangar ready, the next big patch it's flyable. They've been pretty consistent on that this year.
Mm-hmm.
So I would think the Reliant is probably the next flyable one. The next hangar ready one could easily be the Caterpillar. If not the Caterpillar, then the Herald, I would think.
Yeah. I would say Zim's asking if the Herald will go up in price too. I imagine, just safe bet, everything's going to go up in price. If it doesn't, then
everything's going to start going up in price. We're getting farther away from the early days, and they've said that the early backers get the good prices, and I think it needs to go up. We need to get money for development because we're going to stop selling ships, and they're going to need to have some money in the bank to keep it going.
Well, and there needs to be and like they said, there needs to be. It was a reward for being an early backer. That was the idea behind these low prices. Mm-hmm. So all the prices have pretty much every ship has gone up by at least $5 or $10 from concept to hangar to flight ready sale.
Some of
pretty
them
much every ship has done. Some of them far more than that.
Well, but here's the thing too. When you're speculating on a ship in the beginning, right? This has been several years ago now. The cost of labor is different. Everything else is different too. But you don't know how much it's going to take to build something you don't know how to build.
Right.
Now that they have better metrics for that, the estimates of price are going to go up. And when it's done and they're selling it to you, they know exactly how much it cost them to make the ship. So you're guaranteed it's going to be
It's more than just the cost of the ship. It's as they are progressing further, a lot of the ship is valued based on what they feel its value is going to be in the universe. But the component values, the value of its job, etc. And as they are developing the game, they're starting to learn more and more what that means. For example, they're learning more and more that pure combat ships, are not that valuable. They really aren't.
Well, they flooded the market with them.
But it's not just that they flooded the market with them. It's that a pure combat ship has one job, and it's a very small job in the real world. I mean, it's like saying, I don't know, when you look at real world soldiers, an infantryman is good at being an infantryman, but you don't have your infantrymen go and work on your network. You don't. That's what these other jobs out there are for. Yeah, and there's all this other stuff that makes an army work. Mm-hmm. The infantryman is, there's a reason they call him the grunt. The term grunt is the urban myth behind the term grunt comes from World War I, where their file was stamped ground replacement unit not trained, grunt. Yeah. They're the most basic low level, and that's what a combat ship is in terms of Star Citizen universe. It is the most basic low level type of ship out there. It does one job. It does it great, but that's all it does.
Absolutely. All right, a couple quick fire questions here so we can catch up. We had, did we already answer this? Any word on what cargo capacity will now be, where was it at? It keeps scrolling up on me. Will now be for the CAT?
I don't think they've changed it that we know of.
Yeah, I don't think we have a final number. They were giving some rough guesstimates on stuff.
It looked like, well, when they were showing that walkthrough a couple of weeks ago, when they were like gray boxing or whatever, and they had cargo stacked in there, I was counting it, and it looked like there was over 100 cargo boxes per module. So I'm thinking 400 or 500. which sounds about right because it's a pretty good sized ship.
It's possible.
That's filling it up all the way with still having a walkway. No, not having the walkway down the middle, but that's what those. That's what the modules that had the door opening on both sides, the base one.
Yeah.
That's not far off. Its cargo capacity on the page says 512.
So that's probably
See?
about right.
So
Yeah.
probably
5 rooms.
roughly at the same level, yeah.
Mhm.
At least as of right now.
Yeah, Stewie Knight asked, should I melt my blade for a cat pack? And he says he already has a lot large ships. He's got the 980 Jump, Phoenix, and Racer M50.
No.
What are your thoughts?
My answer is no for two reasons. One, because I shouldn't be the one telling you what to do with your ships. So that's why I'm going to always say no when you ask me, should I do this or should I do that? But the real reason, the Blade is a rare ship. The Caterpillar is not.
Yeah.
Yep, same answer as the Banu. I just wouldn't. Rare ships, I wouldn't do it. I just wouldn't. Unless you just hate the blade, unless you got it and you just hate it for some reason. I don't know. But if you have,
I would honestly, if you hate the blade, wait until you can sell it in game, because I guarantee you'll be able to sell it for more than you'll be able to melt it. I mean, you will be able to sell it to another player for enough that you'll probably be able to buy a dozen.
It's very true. Rare ships are going to be much higher value. A lot of people are sitting on rare ships just for that.
But then again, the Caterpillar is going to be usable and flyable for a year or more before the blade is, so you'll get more enjoyment out of it versus a blade that you can't not
I don't
be able
know.
to
I'd
fly
enjoy a stack of UEC.
Well, yeah, see, in my view, I always look at
probably.
it. I always look at it what it's going to be used, of long term. I look at it for the universe. I mean, that's why I've been hanging on to this Mustang Beta for so long.
Yeah.
Mustang Beta may not be the best ship for Arena. It certainly wasn't the best ship for Arena Commander for a long time. But damn, you show me a ship that's more utilitarian than a Mustang Beta, and I'll show you a ship that isn't in the game yet, because
it's a cool little ship. I got one. I'm not going to get rid of it.
Yeah, my default answer is if you worked hard to get a rare ship or you paid more money for a rare ship, you're probably going to regret getting a rare ship because you're not going to get the opportunity to get the rare ship back. So that's the way I always answer it with everything. That's for the Banu.
If he melts the blade to get a Caterpillar now, he's always got the buyback option on it.
Yeah.
For the next year or so, so that's an option.
It is.
Will you?
People do that. If you don't have the money now, you can buy it back later on, and then you have both ships. Because right now, Caterpillar LTI, that's not going to come around again without doing some type of LTI upgrade.
It's true.
And
November.
Faber777, speaking as a member of Evocati, I don't think I'm telling any secrets by saying we are not testing anything right now.
Yep.
That's nothing. So there's your answer to that question.
You'll probably hear about 2.4.1 before you hear about 2.5. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I expect that because of the problems they're having with 2.4 and the way they've hinted at hyping 2.5, it's going to be a bit before we see or hear anything serious on 2.5.
Yeah. I think they got some stabilization in 2.4 they still really want to work out before they go to the next build.
Yeah, they don't want to. You can't really start building 2.5 until you've got 2.4 basically done, and I think they've got too much they still want to do to it.
I think
Pratchett says,
another week or two.
I'm off to the gray market.
Yeah, give them a week or two, and you might hear the Evocati get tasked or something, but I doubt we'll see anything on it as a live community for quite a while on 2.5. Cato's helping out here with the questions. Appreciate Cato. He said from Combs, he says, so if I buy a 2-pack of Dragonfly, can I CCU different ships to LTI? Yes, you can do 2 different ships. That's not a problem. It's only when you try to give stuff away, you're not going to be able to give them away to separate them from the package. You can upgrade them to any separate ships you'd like. If you decide to melt one completely, though, you'd have to melt your whole package. So let's say you got 2 different ships that you upgraded to, and you wanted to get LTI Aurora on this one and something, an LTI Redeemer on the other. If you want to melt them completely on either one, you're going to have a problem because you got to melt them both.
Philip Butzel, what did he do? Did he do a chargeback against CIG and you got burned by it? I just want to know. He says he got burned on the gray market from a reputable seller this week, 60 days after the sale. Sounds like another chargeback one. That's becoming more and more common.
Yeah. What happened?
Here's what happens. Okay, one of the reasons why CIG doesn't officially support the gray market is if I buy a ship and then I sell it to you, Stoutman, CIG has no record of that sale. All they see is that I gave you the ship, right?
They can't.
Right.
Now, as far as CIG is confirmed, that ship was purchased by me. If I then initiate a chargeback to CIG for that ship purchase. Now that ship that you own, doesn't matter what you paid me privately, as far as CIG is concerned, that ship that you owned was never paid for, and they have to take that ship back.
Yep.
So what these people are doing is they are selling ships on the gray market, and then 6 months, a year later, in some cases, they are issuing chargebacks against CIG, getting their money back from their credit card company for the ship that they sold on the gray market. And then you, the buyer on the gray market, are stuck on the hook. Either you have to pay for this ship to CIG, or you have to give the ship back, basically.
I use PayPal. I got PayPal buyer protection. I'm covered. I'm not going to worry about that.
But that's the thing is, then that's between you and the seller on PayPal.
As long as you use PayPal to the seller and you work that out there. But if he waits a year, I don't know if PayPal will refund you then a year later.
Yeah,
so it depends.
That's the thing is the gray market is very it can be dangerous for that reason right there. It's also going to be dangerous simply because there's no guarantee they will ever deliver the product, But
they just cover their butts in the new end user, so.
Yeah,
that's why I use PayPal. Philip, I really had good luck with PayPal.
Philip, if CIG just took the ship out of your profile, then that's probably exactly what happened. Is the guy issued a chargeback? So unfortunately, hopefully you did the deal with him via PayPal, and you can issue a chargeback against him via PayPal.
Yep, and then you can get your money back from PayPal saying it was a bunk sale, basically. So, but if you paid him cash or gave him fair trade or bartered or something, then you probably just got hosed, bro. Sorry.
CIG should think enough to contact a different person that has the ship and say, "Hey, this is what's going on. What's your story?" They should be a little bit more responsible about it. They really should.
No, here's the thing: the gray market is way too big for CIG to try to do that, and they've said that before. They will not prevent us from selling on the gray market, but they will also not do anything to help us.
So buyer beware.
It's not their responsibility.
Why are they giving them the money back on the ship so far later anyway?
Well,
they don't get the money back. It's a chargeback. The bank or the credit card company does it. That's how that works.
Yeah, they don't really have an option in that. But that's also why you see the 2S's over the last year or two change a lot, because they were, when they had all that big influx of everybody wanting refunds back when, they gave back these refunds for like everybody for all time, like 2 years ago. Like, oh yeah, we'll give it, and then we're done with giving you money back. And some of that is also repercussions in the gray market because they have all these people doing these scams and doing these things and try to generate money off of air. There's nothing. You're not getting anything for it. And so, unfortunately, regardless of who sold what to who, it makes CIG look bad. So they're trying to tighten up their TOS so you can't do that. So maybe you have 30 days to ask for.
And I just want to say for those of you out there that have said before that Derek Smart and his little army of trolls don't cause any harm or just something fun, the reason this is happening is because they told people to do this.
Or they do it themselves to influence the game.
They went out and told people how to do it as a way to scam Star Citizen backers.
Yep.
So that's what. So when you say they don't do any harm, they do harm. They have done some harm against at least individual backers. Maybe not the game as a whole, but individual backers.
Yep. Dudu's right. Dragonflies, are the Dragonflies CCU possible? I've seen a few people said they're not. They are possible. Ben Lesnick's confirmed that on RTV. It's available there. Now, if you're looking for it in the extra tokens to go in the extra ships for upgrades, there's only a couple options there. But if you drop them in the ship matrix, they'll let you upgrade to LTI and all the ships. It's not a problem. And if there is a bug with it, Ben confirmed that it should be working. So,
I'll be right back.
So that shouldn't be a problem there. Let's see. Ukraine. Yeah, I wouldn't deal. Nothing against people from Ukraine, but foreign entities, your banks don't have a lot of options there, unfortunately, unless you have a global bank and they have great terms with you because you have millions of dollars in there. Otherwise, they'll just tell you you're hosed. CCUs trickle in eventually, blah blah blah. I think
a lot of credit cards will give you some type of buyer protection too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that, I mean, if I
and they don't
if
question
I buy something like this, it's going to be with a major credit card or with PayPal. PayPal has buyer protection. I mean that's a coverage that's built into the price.
Yep.
So even if PayPal has to eat it, they've got that built into their business model, and you're paying for that. So, and I've used that before. I've had weird stuff happen, and I've gotten refunds from PayPal when something never showed up, and the person was a flake and didn't ship it or whatever. I've got my money back, and I know PayPal ate it a few times.
PayPal takes care of me on every twist and turn, both as a buyer and seller. So that's why I pay them their 2.7% because I don't.
I've spent a lot of money through them over the years, and I've had problems here and there, but I've always just been straight with them, and I've never tried to pull any strings, and I think they know that, and they treat me right, so I keep with them. And
all right, looks like
I speak well about them.
Yeah, it looks like Bloke saying Dragonfly CCU doesn't seem to be working on a CCU to Caterpillar.
Weird.
It's day one. There's going to be issues with things like that.
Yeah.
I couldn't buy the Buccaneer day
I see it all there.
because of
Put in a
little
ticket.
issues.
Put in a ticket.
Yeah.
I see it all.
Here's the
in
other
there.
thing. Even it's early in the sale, so it's not a problem. But I've had CIG. I won't say what it was, but they've taken care of me on something that was no longer on sale because I had an issue during the sale. So they're very accommodating. They aren't going to cut you out of something if there's an issue. Just put a ticket in early if you're having a problem, and they'll help you out.
They just probably didn't think of it or get it in there yet today.
It's Chuchi's Idris.
It came in late today, too. I mean, they were hoping it would be earlier, so there could be bugs. I mean, Turbulent handles all this stuff for them as far as those Matrix and the buying, selling, and upgrade stuff. So put in tickets, report it. Don't put in just a issue council. Put in an actual ticket with your account stuff. Because I saw one issue council. I was going through the list the other day. It was something about purchasing something. Like, wrong place, bro. Because they're worried about game bugs here, not purchase bugs. So...
Well, no, if
Zim
it
asked
is
the
an actual bug with the purchasing system, that does belong on the issue council. There is an issue council for the website itself.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I'd probably put in the ticket though first for yourself. Just
Well, yeah, you probably want to do both. I would
do
do both just to make sure.
Yeah.
Zim asked the question: should I CCU my LN for $35 pack to a Dragonfly? And I'd say, like, I don't know if you have any other ships, but if that's just like your only ship and you're starting off with that, do not get a ship that can't do quantum, that can't go anywhere else.
And
Stay with your
and
line.
It's
not exactly a starter ship.
I would
it's a
never
fun ship.
exchange a utility ship for such a limited role ship.
And even though we're calling this a ship, the Dragonfly itself, we have to make really clear that they said explicitly, and this is not going to change according to Ben, you cannot go from planet to space or space to planet with the Dragonfly. It is not a orbit breaking or an atmospheric breaking ship. It cannot go up and down by itself.
It's basically a big ass jetpack is what this is.
You can operate in any plane, but if you try to re-enter the solar system, planetary atmosphere, you will burn up and your face will fall off.
It's a John Deere tractor. You can't.
Think of it as a motorcycle. It's just kind of for fun and for scooting around.
It's a pretend motorcycle. It's a moped.
Zip around an asteroid field when you're looking for rubble, or if you go down on a planet, you could use it to explore the planet. That's what I think it's good for.
Okay, as Combs says,
because if it's hover on the planet, you're going to be able to go places that you can't go in a buggy.
Well, and it's a two-seater. That's the other thing. If they made it able to break atmospherics, then the Merlin would be deemed pointless in a lot of capacities, because that's a snub fighter. You can come off the ship, you can go all the way down to a planet, you can come back up to your ship, do those sort of things. And if you had these motorcycles do that, then you could ride two people per motorcycle, just roll down to the planet, come back up as you want, and, whatever. So probably not a good thing. Combs said, so I have an original package campaign with MMO and MMO with ship, with 325s. Then I CCU'd to an M50. I'm wanting to metal it and reclaim it. Does it go back to the 325 or the M50? It goes back to your original purchase when you
original ship.
Yeah, the original ship. You can't. If there's a process in your upgrading where you hit a different vessel, it won't do that. It'll rewind all the way back to what it is, and then it'll credit your account with whatever you spend in between, from my understanding. If you want to re-up it to whatever, you can do that as long as said middle ground ship is available. If you want to do something different, I won't say it's impossible. Send them the ticket to them, and they will work with you.
Yep.
Because I've seen people able to do that too, where they bought a limited ship off a package, and then they went beyond that, and now they want to go back to the middle ground package. They'll work with you on it. They're not going to be a-holes about it, because they want you to be happy and they want your money. So
be careful, like, what packages you melt. Remember, like, if you bought your package 2 years ago or a year ago, you got your package for a lot cheaper than you would get your package for right now.
Yep.
So
it's got both. The old packages have both games in them too.
Be very careful when melting them.
That's right. And you have to consider the fact that even though they'll be pretty willing to help you get back to one of the tiers of the packages you were at, possibly, if there was something else you wanted to get that was limited available that you never actually owned, they will not do that. They're not going to let you get some, I bought this package and it was there, and there was a package last year I really wanted and it's in between. They won't do that. They'll only do something that you previously actually held in your account, maybe. And that's if you're nice. And I think it's in chocolates.
Yeah, Tal, don't ever melt your Omega. You can CCU Omega and get a $50 to $5 value, but don't ever melt that Omega.
Yeah, keep the Omega. If you want to melt that, if for some reason, well, the Omega's worth nothing. So when it comes to melting, so melting it's a bad idea anyways. But if you've CCU'd it, you can melt the applied CCU and still keep the Omega package itself. So, for example, mine has been CCU'd to a freelancer, and I can always melt or remove that application and still have the Omega. But I won't ever get rid of the Omega because, yeah, it doesn't exist otherwise. There's no other way to get it.
You leave that Omega.
Glorified segue. I like that. It's glorified segue. So Zim says, so I should not buy the Dragonfly and get a second LN. Sure, if that's what you want.
A second LN?
Just buy the Dragonfly and keep the LN you got.
Yeah, if you've got one, yeah.
Just buy the Dragonfly. It's LTI. It's either color you want. It's $35. That's cheap.
The two things you have to be careful.
How long saying customer service wouldn't let him do that with the Omega? Wouldn't let him melt the upgrade. Interesting.
Melting Omega will destroy the package. Can't unmelt it. Well,
yeah, I've heard that too.
Believe customer service over all else. Yeah. That's why we can recommend, but I highly suggest you always contact customer service before making a major financial decision.
That's definitely a change from what was discussed. I just saw this conversation on Reddit a couple weeks ago. A guy was asking about that, and he got it taken care of.
It all depends who you talk to. In customer service, it's a lot of different things. Just like dealing with forum mods, you never know what you're going to get. So just be careful.
Just like a box of chocolates.
That's right. Mama always said. Only things I want still are the Endeavor and the Polaris. He already confirmed the Endeavor will probably come back in for sale probably this year. For sure. Anniversary.
November sales, man.
It'll happen. So who knows how much it'll cost?
And who knows how much insurance it's going to have this year? Because last year everything was like 3-year insurance on the 3-year anniversary. Yeah. This year, 4 years insurance. I think that's kind of pushing it, but.
I think you're getting the border LTI then 4 years because it's 4 years of actual gameplay. It's not 4 years chronologically.
3 years is like LTI.
Yeah, that means you'd have to.
Wasn't there a summer sale before last year's anniversary?
There might have been
summer sale. I think so.
That was before me. That was before I came along.
Last year there was a sale during Gamescom. Yes.
Yeah.
So that would be a summer sale. Yeah.
But they did a larger presentation at Gamescom, so who knows? I mean, we don't know what the ship schedule is.
Yeah, this year they're not doing a big deal at Gamescom.
Yeah.
They're going to be there, but it's not going to be...
The anniversary is always the only guaranteed where you get a large amount of the ships, and not necessarily every one of them available for sale.
Last year anniversary was every ship or almost every ship.
Almost. I don't think...
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It might have been minus the Javelin and the Idris, but it was pretty much everything else.
Yeah, it was everything but the limited by number ships. Yeah, it was pretty much that.
Yeah, they only had the capital limitation on that.
And they still had those come out later, too, I think.
So that's interesting about the Omegas, because when people first applied upgrades to the Omegas, I'm thinking back on that now, they did so with the understanding that you could remove the upgrade. So now what they're saying is you can't remove the upgrade from the Omega no matter what. You just lose it, which kind of... I don't think that applies to any other ship out there, though. Like every other ship, you can remove an upgrade from it and reduce it back down to its original package.
There's something funky about being from AMD, and AMD, it's a really weird politics.
Because it's zero value to it. A lot of it has to do with the value.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. But I mean,
if you CC, it's $55.
Yeah, if I applied a $55 upgrade to it, I just want the $55 upgrade back. That doesn't negate the zero value of the AMD Omega. I mean, if I want that $55 in store credit, and the Omega's still there for $0, they haven't lost anything on that. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. But I think what happened is what I'm guessing is they said that they have no control over the actual keys that identify the Omegas because that's from AMD. And I'm betting that when you upgrade it, you essentially destroyed that Omega. Like it ceases to exist, and they can't just assign you a new one without AMD's permission to do so. Because AMD actually controls that.
Yep.
Well, and it's like, why should they be spending all this developer time making all these changes for all these people who can't make up their mind what they want to do with a free ship? It's like, if you want the ship, keep the ship. If you melt the ship, goodbye. Just I kind of go crazy watching some of the citizens just.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree on that.
I'm like, if you like the ship, buy it and hang on to it. I've never melted a ship to destroy it. I keep buying new ships. I don't just keep changing. My underwear.
They go way out of the way. They give us way too much leeway on the whole melting ships. And
Yeah.
no other game have I ever. I've never played any other game, or got any type of digital media where I've been able to do this. I mean, think about this. What we can do in this game. Like, okay, a great example of that is RiffTrax. I don't know how many of you know what RiffTrax is, but RiffTrax is some of the guys who used to do Mystery Science Theater 3000. They now make basically voiceovers for big name movies, and they also do riffing and making fun of some other B movies that they have on their website. And you buy them, just like you buy like iTunes or whatever for $3 or $5 a pop. But I'm just trying to imagine me going to them and going, you know what? I've decided that I don't want to watch the RiffTrax for Transformers Revenge of the Fallen anymore. I'd like that $5 back so that I can then apply it to the RiffTrax for Star Trek Into Darkness. Please, thank you. Because that's essentially what we're doing with these things. We're going, you know what? I don't want the Caterpillar anymore. Go ahead and give me the money back on that purchase, and I'm going to go ahead and buy a different ship entirely, and you're going to get nothing out of it because you already have that money. You're not really giving me the money back, but you're just letting me apply it to a different item. So it's not going to gain you anything. You're not going to lose anything by it, except that it's going to take up time for your customer service and all that. But please, let me do that. And if you don't, I'm going to send some email after email to your customer service representatives, and I'm going to post on Twitter and Reddit and on the forums about how you are literally Hitler. So just go ahead and do it now. Thank you.
Yeah, Tal Long there was directing this towards Stoutman in his comment about being tired of doing people wanting to change everything all the time. He said the people are stating that this is pre-alpha and everything's subject to change, so if they're allowed to change their minds, why can't their customers? It is not like the customers are getting their money back.
Well, it's because it costs. You have to pay somebody to make all these programming changes. You have to pay 20, 30 managers and the CEO all these hours of labor to talk about it in meetings endlessly before it's done. So it's huge amounts of money
customer
to make
support
these changes.
Fees alone are pretty high. I mean, depending on how rampant it is, it can be pretty high. And I'm not saying that it's terrible what they do.
Stop acting like spoiled little kids and just shut the fuck up.
Well, that'd be nice.
That's something right there. That's also kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Grow up.
We're incredibly privileged. We're so privileged as gamers. It's like, maybe
they treat us.
Never should allow it.
I just want to say that for all the naysaying and all that stuff, I think CIG treats us very nicely when it comes to.
They're awesome.
They're very generous because I'll tell you what, you go dump a ton of money in another game and then ask them to do something for you, and they'll just kind of go, oh yeah, ha ha ha. Yeah.
No, they won't even reply. They're just, what email?
And here's the thing about and mind you, I have melted and upgraded things. So I'm not speaking to this as a person and I'm not this holier than thou. I will never do this thing. I'm speaking to this as somebody who's used this product. Yeah. But when people do the argument of, well, it's an alpha and things change, and that is the reason why I upgraded from my Gladius to a Buccaneer. And that's also the reason why I melted my original pledge of a 315p and used that to get the Gladius, mind you, is because things changed. I didn't like the direction they went. However, that being said, that caveat is everywhere displayed when we purchase things.
Absolutely.
That none of it is set in stone, and there is no guarantee we are getting anything out of this. There hasn't even a guarantee we'll get a game. That's one of the things they say out of that. There's no guarantee we'll get a game. It is that they will make a good faith attempt to make that game. But they are not 100% guaranteeing us that we will ever get the game that they are trying to make.
Absolutely.
So, that and that's the thing is they have no reason to give us these options. They're doing it because they like to, because they like us. And every time we bitch about it, it really, I'm sure there's somewhere whenever we're bitching about it, Ben and his wife are sitting there going, you know what, let's just call up Chris and say, fuck it, we're not doing this anymore.
Yeah, like that happened. Salama says, just imagine how much it cost on the CS department to make this automated procedure. I would imagine not only that, think about the number of times they've changed the procedure on how you can melt, how you can do it. That's a cost in itself. They're building mini systems to provide the CCU now. I mean, they've got all that in. All that stuff's cost. I mean, nobody sits there and programs all that shit to just like for free. They're not
Anyone
cool
here
like
know-
all the followers out there that sit there and say, "Hey, look, Mitachi, I made you these free graphics. Here you go, bro." They don't do that for Star Citizen. They're paying.
And
some
they
big amount of
outsource a
money.
lot of that too.
Oh, yeah.
So it's expensive.
Yep.
I mean, in one way, it's cheaper that it's automated. But imagine, like, anybody here know the name of any like customer service representatives, like from back in the day?
Oh yeah.
Like, and here's the thing: we have concierge,
Phyllis for AT&T.
all these
She was
incredibly
awesome.
privileged people who are like, I don't like what I bought. I want this. I'm spending so much money into the game, and these are people who have to comb through. I mean, if you put in like a mail into them, and you wait for customer service to get back to you, it is through like miles and miles of like of emails from 1.4 almost 1.4 million or 1.5 million people who have complaints about can't get the game to run, I can't get this, I want this ship and stuff like that. So it's like think the staffing needs that they had to do back then. So it's nice that we have this, and like it's automated, it's simple, and they give us our one token every 90 days to do your buyback. And sure, it's not like I'm concierge. I was promised I could change my ships back.
I love
and
how
do all
people
this
throw
stuff. It's like,
the
oh,
word around
God.
promise too. Because that's
Yeah.
why that's just the other reason. I
Give
know
him a
Chris
break.
Roberts is super busy with development in the game, but I really believe half the time we don't get as much exposure with Chris directly, especially on the subscriber special RTVs and all that stuff, is because every word that comes out of Chris Roberts' mouth is a promise to everybody in Star Citizen, because they all go, he promised me that, like he came over to your house, had dinner, and had a long conversation and promised you that your ship would be anything in the entire world that you ever wanted it to be. I'm like, I don't get that. That's a
There's
little
all
bit
these-
crazy sauce.
all
Just
these
broke some
promises.
plates.
All
Yeah.
these promises on the original game when it was a $2 million game, and I'm like, really? You want them to come through on a promise on a piece of shit game?
Well, he
Or
could give
instead
you,
of what we got
you
now?
right now what it is, and it'd be more than a $2 million game. I mean,
Who was it that said that? Was it?
People say that all the time.
It was Aaron. It was Aaron, I believe, that said that at one of the interviews. He said, "If we delivered to you the game that we were designing at $9 million, now with $100 million, you would scream bloody murder that we were ripping you off, and you'd be absolutely right."
Yeah.
Because that's the truth of it, is that if you made a $10 million game with $100 million worth of assets, then there would be people going, What is Chris doing? Is he on vacation? Is he blowing his money on yachts? Because that's the only acceptable explanation for where the rest of that money went.
He's
that kind of
playing
thing.
Demolition Derby with a bunch of 890 jumps, is what he's doing.
He bought some Lear
Yeah.
jets and ran them into each other just for the laughs.
No, it was
Yeah.
science for science.
Taipei says he hates when people complain about Star Citizen. I don't mind when they do it. They can just need to do it in the privacy of their own homes and shut the fuck up around me about it, because I get tired of hearing it too, and I don't even make the game.
Well, it's internet culture too.
Yeah, it is. I mean, everybody's a troll. And, some people are... If you're truly hurt about it and you have truly a problem, I swear to God, if you contact customer service, they will respond to you. They're the most responsive customer service
You know what?
I've ever dealt with. I mean, they're
They
good.
could just sell your ship on eBay and shut up and go away. You know,
You
seriously.
know what?
You can
Not
get your
even
money
that.
back.
If you want to play the game and you really have a real issue with how your ship's developing right now, and you can't get exactly the buyback you want for whatever reason, hold on to it, because you will be able to sell that in game for credits, and then use those credits to buy another ship.
There you go.
You know, if that's the worst case scenario, what you're worried about, and if you really want your money back, like Stoutman said, go to the gray market. You're going to get at a minimum 90% of what you put into it, which is a hell of a lot more than you can
Demand's
expect
pretty
from
high.
any other game that you can. That when you buy another game and sell it used, you ain't getting 90% of it back.
I will say you'll get 90% unless you invested all your capital in 20 Auroras. Then you're probably fucked, because you probably won't get that much money back.
You can still probably sell them. I
you
mean,
can sell them, but I doubt you'll get 90%. If it's an LTI ship, maybe.
I bet you could find somebody out there that's willing to spend $30 for a $35 Aurora, for example. I'm sure of it. Just to say, especially if they want 10 of them, and you've got 10 of them at $30.
You find somebody in Europe that's getting around paying their 30%.
I was going to say, does Test have a one ad somewhere? Because I'm sure they'd use extra Auroras. You never know over there. So.
Test Squadron is always
the Test forums has ships of all kinds for sale all the time. I bought two of them from there, and I got them at original sale prices, LTI, and I'm totally happy. And then somebody I sell an Aurora MR and wants like $60, I'm like, but he's in Europe, he's got that, so it's like I'm like net pass.
Yeah.
Deltron says he'll report it if he sees you selling it on eBay.
There you go.
It's not,
Well, don't worry.
report it to who?
He's just under Stoutman's eBay sales for Star Citizen, so don't look that up or anything. You'll be okay. See, Traveling Anvil says, "Is it true that they're going to give 3 buyback tokens at some point before launch?"
You have
that's
to.
the
You only
case,
get one
we're
at
around
a
a chance.
time.
I don't know.
One at a time. You got to use them though, right?
Yeah,
Well, isn't it
one
you
every
get
90
3
days.
per year? You get 3 per year, right?
I think it's 3 per year.
4 per year.
Or is it 1
Every
per
quarter.
month?
I thought you
Every-
could only have
every
one at
quarter.
a time.
Right.
every
You can only have
quarter,
one
you
at
can
a
never- you
time.
can
but
never have more than
you
one.
can have up to 4 per year.
I
4
heard-
buybacks per year.
I heard if you can fill this cup right here full of tears, they'll give you anything you want. So that's all you have to do. It's like you just have to find a way to package it and send
I've
it
had
to
this
them.
buyback token this whole time. I haven't been able to use it on anything. So
I haven't
I'm
found
supposed to
anything.
get another one, and I got screwed.
We'll
I just
ignore
want-
it. Well, I love
want
Val, but
multiple-
we'll
I want
ignore his
multiple
comment
ones.
about the Chris Dungeon Master to the space
I want to have
group.
3 or
He's-
4 that I can't use. Come on.
Yeah, you never get more than one.
There you go.
Why? Why?
Let's see.
Concierge, I want more than one. I earned it.
I'm entitled to it.
Yeah. Everybody else gets. If they use them, they get more. I just want to be the same. It's not right.
He said, hear a rumor at some point they were going to give 3, maybe before beta or something. Maybe they are. Maybe they'll give you a last minute buyback or buy options or cash out or, do something. I heard you were going to get lap dances right before they went live. I have no idea. There's something amazing will happen.
By the time the game is feature complete and it is being released, they want everyone to have all of their CCUs applied. They want whatever you're
Yeah.
set on, make sure it's set.
That's one thing a lot of the trolls still don't get is once this goes live, they aren't selling ships for cash anymore. Now, given you could buy UEC, you could buy game time cards and then go into the game, buy it that way, but the whole cash market's done at that point.
And
they're going to have to sell something for cash.
I think they should sell the subscriptions they give us now, except for a monthly perk or bonus or in-game money.
They have talked about that being an option.
They should.
They will definitely be selling UEC for cash at a limited amount. What was some of the other ideas they had floated around? They talked about generic cosmetic stuff that doesn't really change anything like every other game has nowadays. However, when it comes to ships for cash, the only ones they're going to have, and it's obvious they have to have it, is starter ships, because when you buy the game,
It'll be
you
the
have to get a
package.
ship.
Yeah, it'd be a game package. You wouldn't call them a starter thing like that. It would be a game package.
Probably, and no more, Chris made that statement where he said, starter ships like the Hornet or whatever, and people, the Hornet's going to be a game package. He did that. What he didn't mean, he was not promising that the Hornet was going to be a starter package. He just, that's just the way
Damn
he
it,
thinks.
Chris.
Basically starter ships, probably the $60 kind of ships, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, no, there are no rumors on Star Marine release, Type A. Star Marine is on indefinite hold in that they are developing it, but it is not a priority.
I think it'll be out after Squadron 42.
Well, the persistent universe is Star Marine right now. That's where FPS is, and it's being developed. And once Squadron 42 is done, and once all the combat stuff, FPS stuff is done in persistent universe, then they'll move it to Star Marine sometime next year, I would guess.
Because it's a Star Marine and Arena Commander, whether people like to hear it or not, are games within the game. They are simulator inside the game. So until the game needs those metrics or they're supported, which we know Arena Commander was started as a test bed, but in reality is a simulator inside the game. So until you can actually do something with that in the game, then they're not going to worry about it. But I want Star Marine too, because I want to be able to respawn and practice FPS combat. I don't want to fly Korea and take 20 minutes to go there every time and just get shot in the face.
It is possible that the 2.5 update will bring Star Marine's infamous Gold Horizon map in the form of a pirate base in the persistent universe. We have heard the pirate base is coming, and we have heard rumors that pirate base is the Gold Horizon map now put into a full space station. So we may still get the Star Marine map. It'll just be its own base space station for people that are outlaw rated.
Yeah, but that's also, again, that's not what I want. I want the actual Star Marine where you can respawn and grind on it. But it's not high enough priority to interrupt anything else they're working on right now. So
Right.
If they put it together now, they're going to have to duplicate the same code 2 places, and that's just a waste of time and
it
resources.
is absolutely.
And that's the bottom line. It makes
Squadron
sense.
42's got to come out, and the main focus now, other than getting some other landing zones, the other base, those type of things up, is working on occupational stuff. So,
Right.
sorry guys, I don't know how to set off my alerts because they keep going off. I've shut off every aspect of it that I can find, so it's hidden somewhere in my vast amount of monitors here. But yeah, I really look forward to being able to do that. But I want, even as an FPS player and a main combat guy, I want the occupational stuff because I like purposeful PvP. I like a reason to shoot you in the face rather than troll you. I want to take stuff or defend stuff or, have some sort of objective-based gameplay because otherwise it gets boring and stale. That's just me. So let's do some mining. Let's, fight over the rocks.
Look at it go.
Let's do something.
Right now, though, I would be much happier if they focused on figuring out what's causing the desync issues and whatnot that are really, really causing issues in both the Persistent Universe and Arena Commander. I mean, they may know what's causing it, but fixing it because it's getting progressively worse with each patch.
Absolutely.
So,
Well, they're redoing all the net code. It's just we're just gonna have issues until they get it done because we're working on a game where they're letting us play it live as they're
and
making
Arena
changes.
Commander is one of those animals to where they needed it to test in the beginning, and now they kind of have to maintain it, but they want to dedicate a lot of resources to it. They're just trying to keep it going along. So hopefully, they'll be able to kind of keep it on crutches until they're at a point where they can really focus on the 2 simulators, which hopefully will be far after we have some mining, some interactive gameplay, and we actually have the solar system more stable as a complete feature in the game, which will be probably post Squadron 42, probably end of the year, if we're being very optimistic.
And Arena Commander, keeping Arena Commander going is a good way to help find more bugs too that you wouldn't otherwise.
It is.
So. And there's been times in the PTU in the last month when they just turned it off because they didn't want to dick with it for a week.
But it's a great training thing, just like what we're talking to Star Marine.
Yeah.
It's a great thing for new pilots to come in when they're not risking their whole spaceship and have to wait the 15 minutes to get a new spawn of a spaceship and all that, which will just get larger, guys. I mean, right now you're waiting your 3, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever, to get a new ship, or you can pay some AUEC in 2.4 to get it back faster. You wait till that Starfarer blows up in the real game and you have to wait 3 days to get it back or even longer. So they'll probably extend that out more.
But then again, it's going to take 10 or 15 minutes of the combat for it to finally blow up, too. Yeah. So it's going to be very different.
Absolutely. But you'll have a reason to have it out there because it's not going to be a combat vehicle primarily. It'll be a gas truck and a hauler.
And that's why we're all going to want to eventually have multiple ships. Even if you only have one now, you're going to earn the money in game to buy them in game. You're going to want to have multiple ships, so you're having another ship to switch to when you're waiting for one to get replaced.
Absolutely.
Unless you like being crew,
as much as I want to be able to captain the big ships that my small little org's going to have, I do want to learn every single role on the crew. I want to, because if a guy goes down and you need to repair the stuff, it's not like it's a skill-based thing in Star Citizen where you just click a button and it happens. You got to know how to do that to a certain degree, or at least be fast and efficient at it. So
I do that as often as I can when I'm streaming. I'm like going to
learn every position.
Hanging out with somebody else, maybe another one of you guys streaming, and I'm like, "You fly." And they're like, "You fly." I'm like, "No, I don't want to fly."
I know.
You fly.
I've actually gotten arguments with Stout.
Once,
I've gotten arguments with Stout on who's not going to be the pilot. No, it's your turn to fly, and he's like, "No, you fly." I'm like, "God damn it!" It's like 6 months ago we both kill each other to be able to fly a Starfarer. And now we're like arguing, "No, you're the pilot today." So.
Because it's fun. It's fun to do something else, especially when you're streaming. Because it's like, I see something I haven't seen yet before, and then people are watching and enjoy that because they see your facial expression like, whoa, which we don't do that often enough because we're just doing it so much.
Well, they like the reaction, they like the interface, and they love to see, just like we were talking about with some of the throwback games that some of us have been playing while we're waiting for more content to come out. People like to see you do something for the first time because they get to experience that with you, and that's really cool. Combs has a quick question here. He says, what's your guess for what the Carrack will cost when it comes back up for sale?
I would put it at least 400. People are saying 350. I would say it's probably pushing more 400.
350 was the last price.
Yeah, that's
on release or still in concept.
Just the next time.
Next time it comes up. Next time it comes up.
November.
it's probably going to go up. Yeah, 375, 400.
Well,
They're starting to increase stuff more and more now. I think.
Look at the Caterpillar. I mean, what was it originally? They said 175 when it first came out. Was that right?
No, it was 245, wasn't it?
No, its original price was like 200. It wasn't all the way. Yeah.
I think Zell's told me 175. He usually knows. And then this time with the package of 2 Dragonflies, it was 300. So it's about 245.
The 245 it's at now was what it was last November.
Probably last time, but in original concept, I think it was probably 200, 175 originally when it first came out. So we've seen them all go up pretty much.
In September of just last year, people were complaining that his price went up to 225. So
okay.
I think that's when they first showed all the module design that they were first prototyping, though, wasn't it?
So that gives you an idea of, let's see.
Yeah, early days of being a backer and getting them cheaper over. They're fading fast.
Yeah, so I bet Zealous is probably right. It started out at 175, then it was bumped up to 225 last year, then 245 probably by the time of the last sale. Yeah. So yeah.
There you go.
All right.
Because I almost bought it for 245 at the time that I bought my Starfarer for 195 at the anniversary sale.
Zim asks, when will the Lando bike go on sale? You'll have to contact the sales representative for Lando's bike, and that'd be Workstrom for the Lando bike. I think he has special exclusive rights in that. You have to get
just get a custom.
Shamelessly, just got that.
Just get a custom Lando bra that fits on the front of the Dragonfly and just has the picture there. It's like a windscreen type thing.
I think he wears it on his head too when he drives it. I like how somebody said something about Lando's hair today on RTV, and Lando immediately thought it was an insult, and he was like, "No," he's like, "Just said you have a nice haircut." And he's like, well, "What do you mean?" It's like, dude, calm down.
But his hair was all nice and neat. He just got a haircut or something.
Absolutely.
Usually he's got a hat on,
and he's borrowed the hair dye from Captain Richard. It looks like, so he's doing well.
Yeah.
So I think they get a discount buy it a bulk. Sensor gameplay will come on soon. Tab key is already dedicated for sensor function because Quantum 42, according to Bites. You're talking about controls. I'm waiting for them to change the controls again. We'll get used to this system and we'll just roll it again.
Yeah, if they keep changing the controls, I just go with what they give us.
Workstrom gave an update on Captain Richard. For those of you who don't know, Captain Richard was having a little bit of health scare, little problems earlier and stuff like that, but it sounds like he's released from the hospital and he's gonna be okay. But definitely, if you don't already have him as followed, guys, I don't know why you wouldn't. Be sure to go and follow Captain Richard.
For those of you that are wondering what happened, we don't know specifically what happened. That frankly, that's not our business.
He'll tell us if he wants us to know.
On stream, he got a little disoriented, little short of breath. And
lightheaded, and
the people that were watching the stream convinced him to end the stream and go lay down, basically. And then his family and Fiaste convinced him to go get checked out of the hospital, and now he's home from the hospital. So that's what we do know about that. Is that he had some issues, and it made us, as his friends and viewers, worried, and we convinced him to go get checked out, and now he's back home.
So
that's good that he's back home. So that's good.
Yep. I'm sure he'll tell people what he wants people to know, what he doesn't. Just don't bug him about it. Just wish him well, show him some love, like we always try to.
But like Patrick said, like that's what I said. It's probably just extreme gas is what the doctor's going to say. It's the worst case of gas I've ever seen in my life. And the reason he was lightheaded was from his own gases blocking out like the oxygen.
Yeah, they probably gave him the rubber glove pinky, and it probably relieved him all the way.
like deflating a freaking hot air balloon.
Watch for his next stream; it'll happen.
But like Pratchett said, the thing about it is he was such a trooper. He's such a dedicated to doing this to entertain us that he was more concerned with making sure his giveaway can happen.
I know he's
and going and everybody's going, forget the giveaway, we don't care about it. Go.
He didn't want to let the viewers down. He had to keep going. It was
hardcore.
It was quite something to see.
Yep. All right. I have a 300i. Is it worth upgrading? And then it scrolled off my screen to the Hornet. If so, which model? I'm not.
You got to make some real deep decisions yourselves, man.
Yeah, I am not a fan of the 300i, and I am not a fan of the Hornet personally. Some people love the Hornet, and I'd say when you can get on Arena Commander, get on there, rent some ships, and see what you like.
I like the Super Hornet, and the Ghost is cool too. Those are the two Hornets I like the best. I own a Super Hornet, and I'll never get rid of it. I like
Super
it.
Hornet's the heavy tank.
Even if it's crap,
that size
it's kind of crappy right now, but I still like it.
Yep.
It'll come back.
And all these ships could change at any point in time, guys. So, I mean, our recommendations are based on our personal feelings. I have been wrong on so many ships. I love the Gladius, but I hate the Gladius, just like Eric. So, it's like one of those things you love to hate, and it doesn't look like it's going to get much better. So, I kind of given up on getting one at this point. So,
when people ask me what my favorite ship and my least favorite ship is, I always tell them it's the Gladius.
Yeah,
that's the answer to both those questions.
Everything keeps changing, so it's a crap roll. We don't know what it's going to end out.
All you can do is...
they keep changing the weapons. They keep changing the shields.
The way they fly, they change.
Hit points, and they change everything. Mm-hmm. And they're going from one extreme to another just to see how we act, how we react, how the ships work with each other. And this is going to be an ongoing process until we get close to beta.
If you're trying to purchase a ship, all you can do, if you have no idea about it, is buy something based on its intended role and your personal experiences. If it's flyable, your personal experiences with it. And that's the only advice I can give people. I can tell you what my experiences are with the ship, but that's not necessarily going to reflect anything for you guys. I flew the Gladius around when everybody initially said it was shit, before they changed it the second time and turned more shit, and I thought it was wonderful. Everybody else hated it. So 5 people I know got the Gladius and said, this thing's shit. And I'm like, I'll never tell anybody again what to get, because, you just don't know. But you basically...
Well, that's how it was with, for months. I was telling people it's the best ship to get. I mean, because it wasn't overpowered, but it could hold its own. It was a great combat ship. And the same thing happened is people got them, and then an update came out like the next week, and suddenly I had sold people this absolutely shitty ship, and I felt horrible. And from then on, I stopped doing that. I was like, no, I can't. What's in your price range? All right, then get a ship that's in your price range. That's what I tell you.
Part of it is also finding a ship that works with your fly style, because we don't all fly the same way. It could be mouse, keyboard, it could be joystick. That could make a difference, or it could just be the general way you play games is different. So you got to try different ships until you find one that you like, and also you got to like the way it looks too.
Yep. If you missed it, guys, there is a link to the Twitter feed there that Kato threw in there. I think he got it from Zim or one of the other guys. That is Captain Richard tweeting out about his status, giving a big thumbs up, and you can look at him in his hospital gown. At least he didn't include the other pictures from the backside, because he might have...
A beautiful beard.
I know, I'm kind of disappointed he didn't.
They probably told him, put your skirt down.
Where's the butts picture?
Yeah. Could have happened. All right, correct answer is Retaliator. Let's see if there's anything else. All right, guys. I think we're about wrapped on all that for the questions for tonight and stuff. I am going to traditionally do a quick raffle for a $10 gift card, like we always try to do at the end of the Space Bro Show. I wasn't honestly going to do it because, but there's so many cool people here, and everybody hosting, everybody's been so cool. I say, why the hell not? We need to do it. So $10 gift card. We're going to do it just as a keyword. I'll give it to you here in a second, and we'll make it happen for you.
Yeah. Oh, I just saw the question about the Idris. Well, there's actually been a lot of info about the Idris. Yep. It's been a lot of non-info, but it's been info at the same time. They are flying it now internally. Most of the internals for it are done. And we can probably expect to not see anything more on it until at least CitizenCon and maybe even Squadron 42. So, because it's getting close to that, and I think they're trying to hold off on giving us any real look at it until they show us at the big reveal, and we go, holy shit, that's bloody amazing. I can't believe how great that is.
Yep.
Well, it's a big ship too, so it's going to have a lot of bugs to go through. Just look at the Starfarer times 4 or 5. So you're going to be falling through the floor in a lot more places. It takes a while to work through that.
Yep.
Absolutely. Guys, just exclamation mark 2.5 in chat to enter this $10 Star Citizen gift card raffle. Get in there and get that done. I appreciate it. Everybody, all the follows tonight, all the love, all the good stuff. So keep that going. We'll give you a couple minutes to enter there. Let's see what happens when Squadron 42 comes out and it's not very good. All I don't know. What happens when you buy a $50 computer game and you hate it?
The internet's gonna go crazy. It'll be amazing.
Just go play Dirk Smart's game then. You know, if you don't like it.
Zim, I'm bulletproof. I bought Battlefront, so I paid.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Call of Duty. So.
It's fucking terrible. So I just chalk it up to a list of nerd game that sucked. I guess, you know, what are you gonna do?
That's life.
That is life.
You guys,
I'll tell you what I won't do. I won't be running over the forums and going, you know. So it's whatever, you know. You take what you can do. If you're spending more money, then it's going to impact you that way emotionally, then you probably shouldn't spend the money.
The good thing about the way Star Citizen and Squadron 42 is being developed is if it comes out and it sucks, they can fix it.
Yeah.
That's they can literally just keep working on it and fix it.
Yep.
You know, they're not a published, you know, they're not locked in by a publisher to release it at a certain date and then move on to the sequel or whatever. Yeah. They can spend as long as they have the money to keep making, you know, and working on it to fix it. So that is one of the nice things about it.
Absolutely.
And they're going to be working on a second and third chapter, so I can see them keep adding more onto the first one as they go along.
What date is CitizenCon, guys?
It should be 9th. Like, I was going to say October 9th and 10th or something like that. 10th is the official anniversary, 10/10. So yeah, anytime around there.
It's on a Sunday.
Absolutely.
In Hollywood.
There you go.
At Hollywood and Vine.
All right, just a couple more minutes, guys. Explanation mark 2.5 in chat. Make sure you are a follower. I'd hate for you guys to win this and not win it and get a reroll on you. You have to follow. Got to follow to do it. Looks like most everybody in there is, though, I'm sure. I just don't want anybody to forget. Boop, boop, doo. Anything
Carter
else?
said, I bought Division for $130, played 2 weeks and done, such as gaming. Yeah, even if the game sucks, we'll play it, we'll enjoy it, we'll hate it.
Dude, if you're a gamer, welcome to gaming. That's normal for all of us, guys. The only reason so much focus on Star Citizen is because a lot of us have dedicated more money to it. A lot of us have spent the time and energy into it. But I've had so much fun with not only these other guys in this room, but all you in chat and everybody streaming it and doing all this stuff, that I've gotten a lot of that money back. I've gotten that time out of it, in my opinion. And I won't ever tell you how much I spent on EVE Online. And that wasn't intentional to help fund a game. That was just because, you know, shit happens. And you want to be
mostly we're looking forward to Star Citizen. I mean, Squadron 42 as the single-player game will be fun.
That's a bonus for me.
But Star Citizen is the...
See, not for me. I backed for Squadron 42. When I backed, the pitch was focused more on Squadron 42 than Star Citizen. Star Citizen was a bonus that was going to happen if they got enough money. So I'm still in that mindset. I mean, Star Citizen I think is going to be awesome, but I'm looking forward to playing a Chris Roberts story-driven, branching storyline space sim again, and that's what we're hopefully getting.
Taipei, I got something worse than that. He says he spent $150 on Defiance and played for a month and was done. Me and my wife bought Age of Conan Collection Edition packs for I think they were $200 a piece or some crap. We spent like $400 or $500 on them. Played for a month, found out the end game didn't work, and literally never touched them again. That if you're married to a gamer, guys, you might think it's awesome, but it costs you twice as much. Trust me, everything.
Yeah, I think the worst.
I just bought this cat bundle. Guess what? I'm gonna have to spend now to make her happy. So,
the worst I've ever done was probably I can't remember the sequence, but it was the Ubisoft sequence that I went through where I ended up getting 4 different games from them because of one purchase because it was so bad. And I think the first one it was Assassin's Creed. No, it was probably Watch Dogs, and Watch Dogs of course pretty much crashed and burned on launch. And then that got me
such a waste.
And after all the problems we had with that, they gave me a coupon for basically a free game of my choice, and I used that on. I think it was the next Far Cry that came out, like Far Cry 4. No. I used that on Assassin's Creed Unity, which was just as bad. And again, I got a coupon for Assassin's Creed Unity from that, and I used that on Far Cry Primal, and I played all of an hour of Far Cry Primal. Yeah. And so, I bought one game, I got 3, and I've played none of them for more than an hour or 2 because they've just sucked that bad.
Yeah.
Eric, you need to watch people on this website called Twitch to see if you like the game first.
There you go. You might have heard of it before.
See, that's the reason why I got those games was to stream them and be one of those people on Twitch. So yeah,
my wife loved Far Cry Primal.
See, yeah, you and I both have streamed Far Cry Primal, and we were pretty much sleeping through it.
Oh,
it was so. It was just. I can't keep doing this.
I made myself play it for like a week, and my wife kept going, and she finished it. You know, like every end of it and all that stuff. And she's like, "You gonna play it anymore?" I'm like, "This is why we should have bought one copy, and you should have played it after I do." I can never convince her that. I'm like, "You wait a week, I'm gonna be done with a lot of these special single player campaign, and it'd be all yours." She's like, "No, I want it to begin with." All right, double money.
Let her play it first.
Ecotrope has got us all beat. He's got the lifetime Star Trek Online purchase.
Oh, oh yeah, baby, life. You're a lifer, bro. Hell yeah. Got about 3 minutes left here, and I'll close this thing up, and we'll draw it. Last questions, last comments. Who's got the worst game purchase ever? I want to know who that is.
Oh, I bought Battlecruiser 3000 AD. That's no joke. back when it first came out too, I bought that. So I probably got just about everybody beat here unless you bought that.
I can't believe you're like the other patron of that.
Oh no, actually, it wasn't really. It sold really well when it came out. It's just that immediately everybody went back and demanded their money back from the game stores because it was that bad.
Superman 64, $65. Oh man. Assassin's Creed Syndicate. It was so boring. I got that beat. I bought Unity. Unity was terrible.
Unity was terrible. Yeah.
It was. It's like
Syndicate was better than Unity.
I stood up and I'm playing this for 2 days and I'm like, who gives a fuck about the French Revolution? I mean, really? I mean, everything else, like, it was just like.
It wasn't even that. It was like the way they told the story. Not even your character gave a fuck about it. No, like, your character didn't care about anything. He had no passion for a damn thing.
I only got to the part where it was like the lady who kept the heads or whatever. And, you know, they had the heads of the jars or some shit like that. And I was done. I didn't play another day after that. I was like, done. I just didn't care anymore.
I never completed. Well, I didn't complete it because I tried. Like I said, I got it for free because of the Watch Dogs fiasco. Yeah. And, so I was going to play through it, and I tried, and despite all the problems on launch, and I had a gaming rig that blew away their recommended specs. Yeah. And I was still 30 FPS was good. And I battled through that, and they kept saying, well, we're releasing patches. So I figured, okay, it's going to get patched to get better. I battled through that, and then I reached a point where literally you could not progress anymore. There was a game-breaking bug that prevented you from progressing anymore. If you went into that particular part of the city that you had to go to, it would crash the desktop. And there was nothing you could do about it. And that's when I was finally like, screw it. And I sent them an email. I was like, you know what? I can't believe that you've done this to me twice now. Yeah. You know, this was supposed to be my free game for another game you delivered that was completely broken. Now you delivered me this one. And they replied back with, here's a coupon for one free game.
Yeah, it's like, we got a stack of them. We can keep going until you find one you like. No, I hate that where it's a game-breaking bug. That's why with Age of Conan, because since we were launch players, we had a whole guild set up, and we were going through it. We went to build our city, and then the cities were stupid because they're instant cities, and you had to be in the same instance to even find somebody else to fight. But we got to the point where we wanted to get the effects of the city, and they're like, oh, it doesn't work right now. I'm like, well, when's that going to be done? Oh, I don't know, about a month or two. I'm like, so I'm just supposed to sub for a couple months and hope we get more content? It's like, who launches games like that? Apparently a lot of people, I found out over the years. A lot.
It's getting more and more common. Now all this early access stuff is get out of control.
It's early access is a fucking excuse for 95% of games out there, and it's making another one really bad.
Another one that I bought, and it was the first time, and the first time I ever asked for a refund on Steam. And back then is when you only got one refund per life on Steam. Yep. So I mean, this is how much it meant to me. X Rebirth. Oh. I was so pissed off. I'm a huge X fan, and that game was horrible.
Traveling Anvil had the same experience I did on Conan. That's right. All right, guys. Raffle is now closed. Let's see who's the lucky winner. All you have to do is, if your name is pulled, you have to answer in chat in 2 minutes. Be a follower. And then if you are the winner, you'll send me a message through Twitch with your RSI information being your handle and your email associated, so we can send you that gift card. And you'll get it in the next 24 or 48 hours. So good luck, everybody. 3, 2, 1, draw. Beer specialist. Hopefully beer's here.
Get rid of him.
Specialist. We'll see. He's got 2 minutes to reply. Watch him go AFK, and then he's like, oh, what happened?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. To that reroll.
Nah, I give him 2 minutes because you never know. They got to shake it twice.
Oh, there he is.
There he is. Congrats, Beer. Congrats, bro. Yay! nice scam there, bloke. Nice scam there.
I was wondering what the hell that was about first. I was like, what is he trying to say? And then I realized
wonder how many guys in our chat right now have a alcohol associated name, because I'm looking through the list. I'm like, there's a lot. So speaking of alcohol, guys, tomorrow I used to do Thirsty Thursday. Can't do it on Thursdays anymore. So tomorrow night I will be doing we haven't decided if it's smushed or I'm going to probably go with Saturated Saturday, where we'll be doing shots for donation stuff to kind of build some stuff up. I also will be doing some other streams throughout the week, but let's go around the room and see what everybody else is doing. Moonshiner, what do you got going on this weekend?
The same thing I do every week. Tomorrow I'll be streaming from 6 to 11, trying to take over the world.
That's right.
Yeah, we're just doing the same old things I do. I play Star Citizen and all that kind of malarkey and good stuff, and whatever.
All right, we're gonna do a streamer raid on Moonshiner randomly tomorrow. We'll get like 25 guys and jump into Discord. So it's like,
trying to get 700. I'm giving away one of those stupid dragonflies.
Yeah,
so,
congrats on 600, by the way, man. 600. That's good.
Yeah, we're growing slowly. Chugging.
Get there.
Going.
Get there. Wait, I was at 3,500 one time and I lost 1,000 followers when I went AFK. So it happens. It happens. So, Eric, what do you got going on, buddy?
I'm doing a playthrough of the Mass Effect series right now.
Yep.
I'm taking a break from Star Citizen because 2.4 playtesting really burned me out on it, and I don't want to be burned out when it's time for 2.5 playtesting. So I'm taking a break from Star Citizen. I'm doing the entire Mass Effect series. I'm in the middle of Mass Effect 2 right now, and so I'll be doing that over the next couple of weeks. Probably the way I play it, even though I'm trying to take it slow, I'll probably be done with Mass Effect 3 by the end of this week, by the end of next week. So then I'll be looking for something else to play.
Yep, absolutely. That's cool. Mr. Stoutman, what's going on? Tell us all about it.
Well, mainly Star Citizen. Me and Sophie Girl started doing some fundraising because we're doing a trip to BristonCon next month. And so we're trying to get our airfare covered and maybe some hotel expenses after that. So we started streaming last night, started raising some money. I'm going to keep doing that this weekend. Probably in about a week, we're going to have like a 24-hour stream one time, and then we're going to do a bunch of 12-hour marathons. So we'll probably get some of you guys in there with us, do some multi-streaming, multi-crew stuff, have a good time. That's what I'm doing. I'm still got some bobbleheads. I'm still working on bobbleheads. So I'm trying to get a full set of all the CIG faces we're used to seeing, and then I'll put a little video together and post it on the website and get my account canceled probably, but we'll see how that goes.
It'll be good. It'll be good. So yeah, make sure you guys show Stoutman some love. Follow the other guys here and do all that stuff, and make sure everything help support him and Sophie so they can go on this trip, because that'd be really awesome sauce. So we'll try to do that stuff.
We're gonna go to the Frankfurt office for this after we do BristonCon and stay with Brian and my sister, because that's the family, so we don't have to pay for a hotel, which is nice.
Just expensive ass airfare.
But we're gonna interview some of the guys there at the office and stuff. So we got some really cool stuff planned. So it's there's gonna be a lot of video coming out of this trip. It's gonna be good for the whole community.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And what, Stout, you're streaming after this, right?
Yeah, I'm going to take a little breather after we're done here, and then I'll stream up tonight.
So make sure that you follow everybody, because we'll have some streams after this. A couple more things, guys. We are trying to push. I'm just now starting to get subscribers for my channel and stuff. So if you do feel interested, we do the Space Bro Show every Friday night at 10:30 p.m. CST. But also during the week, I do a 12 o'clock p.m. CST from Monday through Friday. And then we also do a 9:30 show every night of the week, except Friday when we do Space Bro Show. So we're trying to build up the stream. And we will, at the end of this month, for our subscribers, be giving away another Buccaneer as a subscriber raffle, as well as have some additional little, maybe surprises between now and then for guys. All the money that we get from donations and all that stuff goes right back in the channel and goes out to prizes for you guys, so we can continue to build up the channel and the show and do all that jazz. So the more you contribute, the better stuff we have to give out to everybody. But I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for stopping by tonight and continuing the conversation about Star Citizen, some of the E3 stuff we all loved, and we will see you tomorrow night for my sloshed or saturated Saturday that we have around 9:30 p.m. So thanks, guys. Thank you so much, Mr. Invisible Chair Eric McKetton, Moonshiner, and Stoutman for being here with me tonight. I really appreciate you. Thank you, mods. Thank you, followers. Thank you, everybody. And
thanks, guys.
Yeah, keep supporting the show. We love you.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Love you.
Hold really still. They won't notice that the scene hasn't changed yet. There it goes.
Powered by Intel Core i7 processors.